What I saw? A bunch of wooden penises
I'm so happy I
mount,
went live right then.
mounted, mounted on ashtrays. And I thought to myself, oh my God, I have to buy one for one of my close friends here. So I went and I bought one. Second night out at the beach, same thing. Sunset. After that, we head up to the shops and I go in and I'm like, all right, I'll get one for myself too. Third night, same thing. I go in and I bought like 4 more, and the lady was there the same night, or the same lady was there all the nights, and she kept looking at me like progressively, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So I got like 6 or 7 wooden dicks, just waiting to hand them out.
You're not gonna send me one? I mean, I think that'd be hilarious. Not gonna lie, I would laugh my ass off, and I will take it to my mothers-in-law. I will take it to my mothers-in-law because they will get an absolute kick out of it. They will totally get a kick out of that shit. All right, guys. So we'll pause the story there for a second and say hello. So obviously, I've got Mr. Joe Guns over here to my left/right, stage right. I love that. People are like, what the hell? Yeah, sorry, but what? Apparently, Joey bought some wooden dicks while in the Philippines as gag gifts. They said they were mounted on ashtrays. Or is it a incense situation?
It could be.
Like you stick it in the tip.
No.
Oh, because that would be phenomenal.
That would be.
Well, that's one way to start a stream. Yes, it's the best way to start a stream. Because I literally wanted a story with no context, and I was going to start at a random spot. I had no idea where he was going with the story. I hit go, and he said it had a bunch of wooden dicks on the shelf. Perfect place to start this stream. So, about COPPA and the FTC. So we're just saying, fuck you with the big wooden dicks right out the front of the gate. So, guys, we're going to be talking about a lot of things. Oh, my parents are from the Philippines. That's funny. Calamity Strike. And then Sarah Lee, I see you there. So, Eric, Thomas Nguyen, what's going on? So we're going to be just bullshitting tonight, but we also really wanted to talk about all of this shit going on with the COPPA laws, the FTC, and the child-proofing of YouTube, and how long we can hold on to the sinking ship, kind of.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that's realistically what it's going to come down to. But I think for the moment, we'll talk some fun stuff before we get into the depressing stuff.
Yeah.
So back to your story about buying wooden dicks for people.
Yeah. I'm gonna hand them out like trophies at Christmas.
Okay. Yeah. Send me one.
All different sizes. If I have an extra one,
and send it FedEx just to be funny.
That would be funny.
Yeah. Fucking dick.
Actually, next time I go there, there is something that I want to get for you.
Oh, good.
They didn't have any. So
okay, that's odd. They didn't have any.
They didn't have any. It is
a wooden vagina, isn't it?
No, it is a traditional like handmade wooden trinket thing.
You're not making it better.
I know, but they didn't have any at the store. They had one for display, but they didn't have any.
A butt?
No, it's not a butt.
Like a carved butt.
No,
that is also an ashtray. That's right. At the starfish, you just put your cigarettes out. I'm just coming up with dumb shit. All right, so guys, because this is going to be a depressing stream, I'm drinking a nice Stone Ghost Hammer IPA just for the hell of it.
And I got vodka.
Or water.
We'll see when I take a sip.
If you had that much vodka, I would honestly be worried about.
Ooh, that's cold water. Okay.
Yeah, such a bitch. You hear that, Mr. Anderson? That's the sound of inevitability. That's the sound of your death. Goodbye, Mr. Anderson.
Inevitability?
Yeah.
So you're telling me that Agent Smith predicted...
yes, he actually did say, I am inevitable. He did. He actually did say, I am inevitable.
So...
He actually did. The Matrix predicted the end of everything.
Yeah.
Hello, Jose. Loza. We're just talking stuff here. So very recently, Joey got back from another trip to the other side of the world where he basically had a goddamn tropical vacation.
Yeah.
He's posting pictures like right and left. He's doing these huge photo dumps, and I'm just like, and half of which are just him in the pool, like staring out over a gorgeous ocean.
Yeah.
Which, and correct me if I'm wrong. There was one in there. You said it was literally your first time ever in a natural body of water.
Yes, in a natural body of water. The very first time I've ever even been to a beach. I went to one of the best beaches in the world.
I mean, I get that you're from Chicago-ish area.
Yeah, and there is a beach up there at Lake Michigan, but I don't even go to Chicago very often. I go there maybe once every other year, or to the airport. But
okay. Oh, can you see the chat? You should be able to. Well, I mean, in StreamYard, you should have off to the right. You should see comments banner.
Oh,
you should be able to watch the chat live because you're on a comp.
Awesome.
Yeah, you can see the chat without having to watch the video. So Calamity Strike said, I'd like to share a revelation that I had during my time here. It came to me when I tried to classify your species. I realized you're not actually mammals. That's funny. You're more of a virus. Yes. Now he's just going to keep quoting the Matrix. At least he's quoting the good one. And of course, we have number 4 coming down the line, which apparently probably no one will be able to review anymore on YouTube. I'm going to talk about that later on, but continue. You got some sand between your toes.
Yeah.
And some water in your crotch.
So we go out there, and it's just a big fucking sandbar for like yards and yards out. And I was up to my waist in the picture that you saw, where I was like, it was my first time, and I was like, I'm scared and excited at the same time.
Your giblies were floating, weren't they?
Yeah. And like my fat,
salt water, it's different, isn't it?
It is. And my fat was floating, so that was kind of fun. Because I'm a big boy.
You're like, hey, I brought my own floaties.
And so Jane keeps saying, don't go out too far, because you might get washed out to sea. And I said, no, you don't understand. I float very easily.
Yeah.
So, and I showed her, I just relaxed and just floating on the water. And then she's like, but what if the water takes you out? I said, no, the waves are going into the shore. I'm on the surface. And the waves were literally pushing me back
in. Yeah.
Towards the, and I was like, I'm fine. I am drown proof. I'm never losing weight.
Unless you, that's bad. Unless you capsize, and then you might get a problem. If you roll over on your front and you can't turn back over, you might have an issue.
That'd be funny.
How did Joey die again? Well, he thought he was super buoyant. Forgot that he can't roll back over.
Yeah.
How do I do this?
But yeah, anyway, so went to one of the best beaches in the world. Boracay is beautiful. If you ever get a chance. And Gary, since you're basically there, what are you doing? Go to Boracay. Check out the beach.
Is Gary or Jerry?
I'm gonna go Gary.
I say 2 R's at Jerry. Gary's are usually 1 R.
You might be right. If that's the case, Jerry, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, Coke, not a sponsor.
Coke, now with the great taste of lemon.
Vanilla.
And or cherry. And or lime. And or lemon. Or whatever flavor the machine will allow you to put in your garbage can of drink.
Yes.
Because Coke sucks ass.
Don't tell me you're a Pepsi guy.
I'm a Pepsi and or Dr. Pepper guy.
Okay.
Look where I'm from.
That's fine, but let me
the home of Dr. Pepper.
Let me tell you, I am authentic, like truthfully, deep down inside, I am an RC Cola guy.
Okay, there we agree. We're on that together. So fuck everybody else, RC Cola. And there's an RC canning plant literally right down the road from me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
There's a bar in the college town I was at that had RC on tap. That was my bar.
Very hard to find nowadays, but I had no problem with Cherry RC.
Oh, Cherry RC was good.
Yeah. I think Cherry RC was better than Cherry Coke. I wouldn't say it's better than Cherry Pepsi, but RC is closer to Pepsi than it is to Coke. Yeah. And that's why I appreciate it. I used to actually not be able to drink Coke because it made me sick, like something about the syrup mix.
Oh.
Especially if it was more warm than anything else.
Oh, yeah.
It wouldn't stay down. It actually was getting to me. I mean, I can have a Coke. It's not going to bother me. But if I go to the store, grab a 20 ounce, odds are I'm grabbing a Pepsi. But if I go out to eat, I'm grabbing a Dr. Pepper because they seem to fuck it up less.
Yeah, especially when it comes to the fountain mixes.
He's not stopping. He's still doing Matrix quotes.
That's okay.
Well, it depends. How many times are they going to shoot us and we'll be able to get back up and completely take over and reforge YouTube to the way we want?
Oh, God. Is that what this is going to become?
If it does. It's like, well, how much freedom can we give them? I'm going to show them what you don't want them to see. We're going to go all the way to the end of it. There is no spoon. What you have to realize is there is no spoon.
That kid was creepy.
Yep. He beat them to death with their own shoes. And what about the bloody tiger? Half of the people in the chat won't have any clue what I'm quoting. Oh my God.
Oh, Jesus.
And Ozzy would not go on stage unless there was an entire bowl of brown M&Ms in his room.
That's my old lady.
Who's the old lady? That's my old lady. Oh.
I love that.
That movie is so much better than it ever had any business being.
I know. It's like it's one of the few sequels that actually stands up to the original.
The original is better overall.
Oh yeah.
But the second, especially with the Scooby-Doo ending, and then the happy ending, and then all that, they took the multiple endings to a whole different level.
Yeah, they did. It was wonderful though.
It made fun of all the tropes that existed in movies that day, turned most of them back on their head. Oh, speaking of Pepsi, the entire section where they're talking about corporate sponsorship was amazing. No way, man. You're never going to be a sellout. Oh my God. Now I think I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Watching Wayne's World 1 and 2.
Yes. I had the soundtrack to both of those, which are phenomenal.
Yeah, they are. Really good soundtracks.
Yes.
So
my exposure to Queen, my first exposure to Queen was their in-car rendition of Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
And at that point, because they did it kind of out of order, you weren't sure if it was one song or two.
Yeah, I always wondered because because that song, it has so many parts that they kind of sound differently.
Yeah.
If that's your first exposure to it, you really don't know.
Exactly. I'm reading the Matrix quotes now. I want my phone call. Tell me, Mr. Anderson, what good is a phone call if you aren't able to speak? Hugo Weaving just chewed the scenery in that movie.
Oh, he did so good.
So good. At this point, we're just talking movies because we can for the moment.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to say one more thing about the Philippines.
Yes, by all means. Talk about your Filipinos.
So they still have Toys R Us, everywhere in the city, especially.
They're all like Walmart's.
Yeah. And so their Toys R Us has almost monthly or every other month they get like a little mini Gunpla Expo. So
really?
I got this guy was
that's the Blue Destiny 2 Metallic-y one, yeah.
Yep. And then I got the Unit 3, which also has the Metallic-y stuff. But then
that's
I also
the white one.
That's the white one.
Yeah.
And I got a new Gundam Verka Expo clear version. It's not the one that glows under a black light, really cool. It's just all the armor is clear.
Which one?
The new Gundam Verka.
Oh, okay. When you said I got a new Gundam Verka, I wasn't sure if you meant a new Gundam Verka or a new Gundam Verka. So that's why I was like, which one? The new Gundam. Oh.
Yeah, the NU.
This is where spelling helps.
Apparently
we got a lot of people watching from the Philippines. Hi.
Hi.
I guess we're on at perfect time right there.
Yes, it'd be like actually, I don't know. It's almost 7 in the morning, I think.
So we're catching them morning time right now. Yeah, because there's Japan is like a 15-ish hour 14, 15-ish hour difference.
Yeah.
Ahead.
So they're normally they're 13 hours ahead, but we're in daylight savings, so they're 14 hours ahead.
That's true. Okay, so they would. Okay, so it's 9. Well, you and I are in the same time zone.
Yeah, I'm in
It's
Central.
almost 9 here. So, yeah, that
Yeah.
would mean it's.
Almost 7 in the morning over there.
Well, you said 14-hour difference.
Well, minus 2 hours because they're a day ahead.
Well, yeah, but still, it's still a 14-hour difference.
I don't know math. Okay,
So
what am
that would
I?
be that's
I'm
a
Lord.
that's a 10-hour difference if they're ahead by 10 hours because they're already in tomorrow.
No, they're ahead. They're ahead. I don't know. Hold on, I can ask.
Why don't we just ask them? Okay, in Malaysia it's 10:42 a.m. That's what I was saying. It's like it's actually almost 11, not 7. You went the wrong way.
I don't know things. My
Well, that's what
girlfriend lives
they're
there. and I
ahead,
don't
you
know things.
jackass.
Anyway, also in a trade recently, I got
Uttered. You got an empty box.
no. It's a
Got
it's
an
a-
empty box.
It's the Gundam for Anime Robot Damashi. Do you have a lot of Robot Damashis?
I have none.
You have none.
I have none. I have a Gundam Universe figure.
Okay.
Hi, Justin Ward.
This little dude,
What up, dude?
makes me want to collect figures.
Oh yeah,
And-
those. I've got hooked a lot of people. I've had some in hand before. Okay,
Yeah.
so I got somebody in. Oh, Anthony Aelio is actually in Thailand. Hi, 9:45 a.m. So that's only that's a 12-hour or 13-hour difference. So there we
Okay.
go, 13 to 14-hour difference.
Yeah, Jane says it's almost 11 a.m. over there.
Yeah. So
I went
same
the
as
wrong
Malaysia. Yeah,
I
dummy.
went the wrong direction.
Yeah. You subtract instead of adding.
Yeah.
Hi, Jane. I always like saying hi to Jane. I don't know why. I just like it. To me, it's like the hi Emiko from Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
It's like hi
Yeah.
Jane. Like any of her posts that she tagged you, and I'm just like hi Jane. It's like, I'm just a dork, and I remember her name on the YouTube. So if she pops up, I'll see her.
Yeah.
Colin Nordstrom, Michigan, another Michigander. No, I'm in America. Oh, Ohio. Oh, girlfriend is in Thailand. Why did you say you're in Thailand? Oh, you're not saying you're in Thailand. I'm sorry. Your girlfriend says it that time. I appreciate that.
Oh, okay.
Wait, in Michigan, it's 9:44. Wait, I'm confused. Is Michigan? Oh, it's further east.
Well, because Michigan has 2 parts.
Yeah. So they actually cross time zones. We're
Uh,
pretty much Texas is essentially all central. There's like there's one time zone in Texas. Texas time zone is all that fucking matters.
well, like Illinois is like right on the edge of Central.
You're on the eastern side of Michigan, right? Yeah. So he's further, or I'm sorry, you're on the western side of. That's the hard part. It's weird to imagine from down here is that like the Great Lakes aren't directly above us; they're over a little bit. They're towards the eastern side, but if you actually, and here's something that I don't think that you guys deal with as much as we do. If you live in Texas, you refer to everything as down. Like it's down from there. You know, it's like it makes no sense. It's like we know we're at the bottom of the country, but we refer to everything as down from us. And it makes no sense. Don't ask why. If it's north, doesn't matter. It's down. We just assume that everyone goes completely around from the bottom back up to where they need to go. Because who the fuck? In Atlanta, it's 9:45. What? Georgia's Central Time too?
Yeah.
Where's that crossover? Okay, so I clearly don't know exactly where the time zones change.
Yeah.
To me, Georgia seems like much further east, but I guess Atlanta is.
I think you're thinking of Alabama.
No, because Alabama would be more central. Georgia is over Florida.
Yeah, I'm not big on that.
Georgia touches Florida. Alabama's further over.
A little
Alabama.
for you guys. I failed the states and capitals test twice. So
I mean, I know where they are. My job makes it a little easier to know where some shit is, but time zones are I know that the Western time zones are stupid because they're 2 hours behind us. So whenever we want to do a live stream and I've got somebody from the East Coast wanting to be on there an hour ahead of me and people on the West Coast are 2 hours behind me. So when they say they're available at 5, they mean their time, but that's 7 here and 8 for. It's like, good God. It's like, okay, so we need to make more things. Utah is Pacific. That makes sense. That's further west. There's Janie.
Aw. Hey, baby. So, anyway.
Oh, sorry, that beer went the wrong way. I'm gonna die on a live stream.
Don't. Although the views, man, the views.
Yeah, but who's gonna hang up? I'm the one who have to end the broadcast.
It'll just keep going.
Just keeps going. Texas is in the fourth dimension. That's why everything is out from us. Texas, it's actually Texas racked. It's a tesseract of its own self. It is a fourth dimension. So we think fourth dimensionally. You people, we need to make more time zones. No, we need less daylight savings times.
There's 24 of them for a reason.
Are there? No, there's more time zones than that.
There's 24 time zones.
Did you know there's parts of the world that time zones are legit only? There's some. I think it's in Australia. That area over there, they have half-hour time zones.
Why?
I don't know.
No.
Yeah, I if I remember correctly, Australia has certain states that have like half-hour time zones.
No.
Yeah,
I want to look into that because that's just weird to me.
I'm gonna check just real quick because we're on this for no real reason.
Because like
it's funny.
Internationally, there are 24-hour time zones because there are 24 hours in a day.
Half-hour time zones. Let's look. Newfoundland, India, Iran, Afghanistan, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, the Marquesas, as well as parts of Australia use half-hour deviations from standard time, and in some nations such as Nepal and some provinces such as Chatham Islands of New Zealand use quarter-hour derivations or deviations. So there are 15-minute time zones in certain parts of the world. That's funny. I knew that shit. So there's more time zones than you think.
Okay, but international.
I understand your theory.
Now hold on. I want to address those countries who use half-hour or quarter-hour time zones.
Yes.
Fuck off.
That's not a question.
I didn't say question. I said address.
I heard undress. I would like to undress these countries and ask why your time zones are there, but I'm going to start with fuck off.
Well, I wouldn't mind.
It might make sense for them. I mean, daylight saving time only makes sense for us, and it still is stupid.
Well, daylight savings is something different than time zones.
I know that, but we decide that time needs to be different for half the year
because of candles. Because everyone uses candles still.
Yeah, but it also have to do with farmers because farmers are limited by daylight now. No, the machines do the work at this point.
My cousin is married to a farmer. No.
Yeah, but a modern farmer, not the ones who set the shit up.
Yeah, I know, but why are we still doing it?
I don't know. Why is the Farmer's Almanac still the most accurate way to tell weather, time, and everything else?
Because farmers are magics.
Seriously, they actually figured that shit out. I assume it has something to do with the Druids. I think the Druids figured out the calculations of the calendar, and then they passed it on to the Masons, who then eventually got it over here, and then the farmers used the same thing.
Oh, Anthony, they vote on it every year, and
they vote on it all the time.
It never goes away.
No, somebody must be benefiting from it, or else it would go away. There has to be someone.
Yeah,
things don't change because money is being made on how it works.
Because the farmers get to go to bed earlier.
I came here to tell you all how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see.
I'm going to shake this marker. Do you want me to mute or not?
I don't care. What's up? Your camera glitched in the middle of that. It's like, I can't take it. So you do the vertical shaking. I do the wrist flip.
This?
I do that, yeah.
But it doesn't make the ball inside move.
Does so you're anything?
Not. That's why your metallics always come out clear, because you're not shaking it right.
I don't even use the markers hardly anymore. And there's a big article on it, so I don't know. It would be fine with just resetting my clocks. Yeah. Well, I mean, almost all clocks at this point, unless they're not connected to the internet, somehow reset themselves, you know. Phones, computers, even your like car stereos are getting smarter as long as they're connected to something. It's like I just live by Greenwich Mean Time. That's it.
Well, I mean,
That's my only time zone that matters.
that's how they do it in Gundam 00.
I said that's why we paint. Yes. Hey, I take that back. I use my Gundam markers, but I use them as paint storage devices.
So, I get some shit from some people for using Gundam markers.
Yeah.
And I don't care because I mean they're number one, they're made to do exactly what they do. Be convenient and easy. The only reason why I'm using these right now is because this kit is metallic coated and I got the Gundam marker metallic set too, and it just happens to have all the colors I need.
I've been wanting to get that one, I just haven't yet. I have an alarm clock that you plug in to know the same kind we all grew up with before the internet. I know what he means. Do you have one of the old school ones from the 80s that's got the red numbers and like the faux wood cover and like the grill and stuff like that? Because I want one of those. My parents still have one.
Yeah, my parents do too. I'm hoping to inherit it when they die.
I own the Gundam marker airbrush set. Yes. And it works when it works. Yeah,
I hear it's hit and miss, but when it's good, it's good.
Oh no, it'll hit fine. It's just whether it actually does anything. It comes down to the nibs you're using. If you want just total coverage, it works. It actually will work to completely cover one item with all the paint in the world. If you need any kind of finesse, that's not what you want to use. Oh, it's just black. Oh, it doesn't have the wood paneling. It's just black. Fine. I want one that goes.
Yeah. Wait, and if you listen to it for too long, at the very end, it goes.
Yeah, it does. Now, I know there's alarm apps and like things that you can do that will make your phone look like that. Like if you wanted to set it up like vertically so that it would actually look like those numbers, that'd be great. I like how you're actually choosing to build something right now and I'm not. Because this could have turned into a Brews and Sprues episode.
Well, you know.
At least for me.
I figured while you're ranting and raving, I can be leaned over painting with a Gundam marker, getting high off the fumes.
Oh, I've got plenty of fumes in here because I've been painting and I spilled thinner. So,
oh, you should be high as a kite soon.
Well, I spilled thinner and I didn't know it, so I had stuff in a container. This will come up soon in a video. So I had them in a little separate container. I was just using to do my brushes.
Yeah,
but I put that away in my tub of stuff, down here under the table, and it had flipped on its side. And so it had been slowly dripping out, and I didn't even know it. And I went in there looking for tape to do the masking on the Star Destroyer, and I was just, I was like, what the? So, like, I opened it up. I found the small puddle. Luckily, it was in one little corner and hadn't really gotten on anything. So I got everything out of the way. I went and grabbed a bunch of paper towels, and I mopped it up real quick. I mean, it sucks that I lost that thinner, but yeah, it was very fragrant in here for a while. Oh, by the way, guys. Speaking of the Gundam marker airbrush set, because the review that I started doing on it months ago, I'll probably never post. If you're going to use it with a compressor. And the reason I say this is because you will get incredibly high using that canned air in a enclosed space.
Oh, I bet.
Because it is mostly alcohol or methanol to use as a propellant. Combined with the thinner that's in the airbrush or in the markers themselves. Whoo, I was doing it in here, in a confined space with the fan on and the door open and the AC running. And I got so high. Now, the times I used it with the compressor, very different.
That sounds like a good time.
Maybe I should turn my channel into a clock restoration channel. I got a buddy who actually restores clocks on the side for more money because he has to pay vet bills for his poor doggy that he had to have fixed.
Oh,
by fixed I mean repaired, not neutered. He had a degenerative spinal disorder that basically paralyzed his back legs and stuff. So they had to go in surgery, decompress the spine, and then he's been trying to recover from that for 3 months now. He has very, very slight movement in his rear paws. And they're like very chewed up. They have to keep him taped because he was scooting everywhere.
Yeah.
And he just could not heal. Like his spine, like the part where they did the surgery on his spine is healed over,
Yeah.
but they had to fight infection for weeks. But now they got him on wheels so that he can run around without hurting his back legs. But I saw him last night when I was at the brewery, and like his little paws were moving a little, but it's hard to tell if those were from his legs wanting to kick or his body wiggling.
Oh,
But
yeah.
in theory, but they have seen actual spontaneous movement, not just whatever. And he's he's a corgi, so he's cute as fuck.
Oh yeah, I love corgis.
I'm moving my toy content to Vimeo. Oof. Yeah,
That's sad that might be a thing.
he's still quoting the Matrix, by the way.
Yeah,
Still doing it.
Let him go.
I mean, I hope it doesn't get copywritten somehow.
No.
It's like, do I get a copyright strike for my comments in the video? It's like, okay, hold on, I got.
If that happens, I really am leaving YouTube.
I left my YouTubery up here, or my Facebook open, so if anybody wanted to join in, I could send them the link. Okay, so should we actually try to like talk about this incredibly depressing and worrisome topic?
Yes.
Okay, so by now most of you should have known or have heard about the bullshit that's happening on the YouTubes with this COPPA and or COPPA compliance and the new FTC rules that have basically, they're trying to make YouTube a child safe place. By that I mean they're trying to make sure that YouTube doesn't accidentally target kids with their ads and collect data on them anymore.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with actual.
It has nothing to do with content.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with making sure kids don't see inappropriate content.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with if kids are watching Peppa Pig and then are suddenly getting porn parodies of cartoon characters. That would be great if that was the problem. Because then you really could just isolate them by content. Look, this is adult content. Kids won't see it unless they are somehow registered as an adult of a certain age. And maybe you have to click on a thing or whatever, provide proof. Like, certain websites would normally kind of barely ask you for information on. But because YouTube has no way to control the viewership, the only option is to control the creator side, because it's our fault that YouTube advertised and collected data on children, because children watched our videos that had ads on them, as we were told we were free to have, and then said data was collected and used by YouTube to also target more ads towards said children, whether they knew they were children or not, which is actually pretty much the crux of the problem.
Yeah.
So what this means for creators in a very basic sense, we all have the ability to say our content, whether it's our entire channel or video by video, that our content is made for children or not made for children. And they mean that in the very specific term of, did you make this to be seen by children specifically, or was this made in a general sense that kids could see it, but that was not your intent or target audience? Now, there's a huge difference in those two things, and most of the difference comes down to what happened to said videos when that certain button is clicked. To simplify it, if you clicked, yes, this video is made for children, nobody's ever going to see it. It's basically going to go into a YouTube void where, unless you're very specifically looking on someone's channel for this video, you may never see it. It will not be what's the word I'm looking for? Not advertised. It won't be suggested. It will not be suggested in other videos. You will lose commenting ability. You will lose monetization, and it will not be found by most options if you are trying to find said video. That sucks in all aspects. However, it's apparently the safer of the two options, because the other option is this is not made for kids, which means it is up to the FTC to decide whether or not it's made for kids based off of some guidelines that they actually haven't laid out specifically yet for themselves. Because honestly, the COPPA laws are still being decided on. That's the scary part. The COPPA laws, while they were developed back in 1998 initially, They're outdated and have been slowly evolving over the decades to this new digital age we live in. And unfortunately, while they are set there so that children are not taken advantage of, they're not advertised to as they were in the 80s, which is why shows like He-Man and Transformers and all their other things were just vaguely disguised toy advertisements, because you were not allowed to advertise directly to children. So therefore, you had to make a cartoon to directly advertise to children.
Yeah.
So the COPPA laws basically say you can't do that. You can't advertise to them directly, and you can't collect any data on them via the internet now, whereas it was a different story back in the day. It was through TV back in the day, doing through Nielsen ratings and who's watching what and such things like that, viewership. Oh God, now he's quoting IBO. So the biggest problem with this, and you can watch the video describing everything from YouTube directly, and it's helpful to a degree. The main way they're not helpful is by giving you any sense of what you should do about it, other than saying, get a lawyer, seek legal counsel if you are unsure of what your content falls under. Now, there's the people like toy reviewers, which is the obvious problem here. Major toy reviewers who have been on this site for 10 years, since its inception, are now having the hardest time deciding what to do with their thousands of videos, because clearly these things, while not targeted at children, were always made with the intent to be family friendly, because that's what we've been told to do. If you want your video to be seen by people, make it family friendly. If it's not family friendly, odds are it's going to get shuffled off to the side where nobody can necessarily find it unless they're trying. So in order to make things family friendly, you had to make them child safe, so to speak. However, now that toys, any toys, can be seen as made for children, and this is the problem, can be, not is, not will be, can be, because it is currently a subjective thing. Someone else from an outside point of view can look at your content, which is basically what's going to happen with the FTC, because YouTube is not doing anything. They're not involving themselves in any way. The system that ran through Automated the other day and basically said this was made for kids, this was made for kids, all that stuff the other day, apparently, while a vague attempt to basically show you, hey, this could be made for kids, or this might be seen as something made for kids, wasn't actually legal in any sense for you. Like, it's not them saying this is definitely for kids, you need us to change this, but it was a guideline in a way of saying, hey, you might take a look at this situation.
They did it only to show the FTC that they were doing something.
Yeah, it was to show the FTC that they could do something, but that their something was not necessarily an effective resource. Nor can they give legal advice on what exactly you should do, because they can't be involved with it directly, because their direct coverage of it is what led to them losing millions of dollars. And they said, we ain't doing that anymore. And the FTC said, you shouldn't do that anymore. So now that it's on the creator's side, the biggest, and this is and I'm looking at it as purely, oh, Jesus Christ, he's still quoting stuff. Now he's in 00. There's everything is such a massive gray area, and I mean everything, because I was thinking about this as, you know, a reviewer of toys and collectibles and even Gunpla, because under what YouTube gave as vague guidelines, any cartoon character or representation can be considered made for children. And lo and behold, all of these Gundams are cartoons. So where the fuck does that leave anyone, if even model builders aren't safe? Music videos. Okay, so there's nothing in there specifically targeting towards it, but kids like to watch music videos. Kids like to watch things related to movies they like. So creators across this entire platform really don't have any idea what to do. The only people who are definitely okay and know what to do are people who specifically make children's content because they have an easy option.
Yep.
Click on this. And the YouTube Kids situation actually has no bearing on this, which is so funny. It has no bearing, and it's not technically an option because even if you say your video is made for kids, it may not even end up in YouTube Kids at all.
Right.
You basically have to sign up to be a YouTube Kids creator. And there's a whole bunch of shit that has to go through that to make sure that's COPPA compliant. So, hold on. YouTube will begin shutting down channels if they are not where did that just go? If they're not commercially viable, like kids content or age restricted. See, that's the problem. Is that age restricted? Basically, you're screwed too. Age restricted means is basically doing the same thing as saying that it's made for kids. You have almost the same end result if you age restrict it, almost. But to stay viable at all is the biggest risk. So looking at it from their vague guidelines, there's very few videos on my channel right now out of the 1,600 videos I've made in the last 3.5 years.
Yeah.
That could technically be considered not made for kids under those guidelines. Now, the biggest question that I've seen, if you are not monetized, does this affect your channel?
Because I'm not monetized.
Yeah.
My AdSense account was killed off years ago because of my ex.
I remember that. Yeah. Yeah.
So like, do I even have to do anything? I went in before I knew all of this. I just went in and was like, yeah, I'm not kid friendly. But now I know I need to go back through and make sure I mark all my videos properly.
Well, here's the other problem with that not made for kids situation. Did you read the thing when you were selecting stuff?
No, because no one reads that stuff.
Well, you know, the problem is that it says this is a permanent change.
No. Really?
If you change your videos to not made for kids, it is a permanent change. That is horse shit. I was like, hold on. They need to change that right now because there's thousands upon thousands of creators who did that, like myself.
Yeah.
Who may have screwed themselves. Now, I can delete my actual like toy reviews.
Yeah.
Most of them are set to private or deleted anyways. There's very few things that are straight up toys, like my Jack specific reviews, some Transformers reviews, things like that I can just lose off my main channel. And then it's all on my Gundam content, all on my Nerdcast and things like that to be potentially viable for being left alone and nobody fucking with it.
Yeah.
But my secondary channel is not monetized. I'm incredibly far away from being monetized. But the problem is advertising to kids or collecting their data, if you're not advertising at all, is that an issue? So you can say that you're kid friendly, you're not kid friendly, but if you're not advertising, what does it matter? Now, if you had the potential to become monetized, like we all technically do, then sure, they need to know down the line's sake.
Even if you're not monetized, that just means they're not showing targeted ads. They could still be collecting data though.
Yeah, but if the data is being collected off of likes or comments, which is strange in its own right, if data is being collected off of any interactivity, then it's a problem, period. Because all these people right here in this live chat, I have no idea how old they are. I know very specific ones. Well, it said even more reason to not choose kid friendly. Yeah. But the problem is, okay, it says no advertising is not commercially viable, which will result in shutdown. But see, if they just start shutting down people who don't make money, then they will literally have no one.
Right.
Because they're if they say that everything anything and everything can be considered kid friendly as long as a kid can see it or a kid can be attracted to it, and therefore they will demonetize it. At very minimum, they'll demonetize said video or take away your channel entirely or remove said video. If they start shutting down entire channels because they're no longer making money for them because they put them in a position to not make money, then YouTube will be out of business in less than 5 years. Because they will literally have no AdSense. There will be no money generated. The only way YouTube makes money.
Yeah.
Like, this will be worse than the regular adpocalypse. But then the idea is stop collecting data, which is that's the other way that Google and YouTube makes money, is by collecting data and selling it.
Yeah.
So the only option is to move to not monetizing at all. So if nobody's making money, but they're still allowed to make content, going all the way back to like basically 2007, where it all began,
Yeah.
then YouTube will just basically have to do a full reset. So
Yeah.
YouTube is backed into a corner where they can't afford to fuck themselves over, but they also, by allowing the FTC just free reign over the content creators, they've just basically this will end YouTube if it's allowed to proceed the way that they say, because there needs to be an objective rule set that everyone can understand and follow of what is considered to be kids content, and if there's a way to avoid it. Because I know a lot of creators that I watch and that I follow, a lot of reviewers have basically lost monetization on essentially their entire channel. Like they basically have to mark their entire channel as made for kids because they look at toys, and any and all toys can be considered.
Yeah. I'm wondering.
So
go ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say I'm wondering about gamers. All the games.
Oh yeah.
All the streamers who play video games and stuff. Game Grumps for one, Markiplier, and then there's other channels like Good Mythical Morning.
Yeah.
Like, what are they gonna do?
Super kid friendly.
Yeah.
But it comes, and gamers are a big problem. Like you said, gamers, any kind of kid friendly content.
I've noticed,
and that doesn't mean made for kids, but made to the ability that kids can watch it.
Since this happened, Game Grumps hasn't been on their normal release schedule this week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't followed them, so I didn't know.
Oh yeah, they used to post at least 1 or 2 videos a day, and this week they've kind of been sporadic.
And there's a big problem. Yeah, I like how Spicy says I have 1,800 videos. I'm not worth the trouble. But see, that's the problem, is that I've got 1,600, you've got 1,800, whoever's got 300-400. Those are likely the people they'll target because it's easier to go through the content. The people at the bottom will be the ones who feel this first. Like the guys at the top can say, "Oh, this is going to screw my monetization," but they may never see a single claim. They may never see an FTC warning.
Yeah.
Because they have coverage, they can actually divert and find a way around it. People at the bottom, the people who are newbies, they're the ones who are all going to have to deal with this. So even if it comes down to just having your channel demonetized, fine. Take away my monetization, but don't take away my ability to create or interact with my people. Because if they got themselves into this, we did nothing but make content for people. Now, we have an intent, and this is the main problem. You can't look at it objectively from a distance without understanding the intent behind the creation. And this is the problem with any kind of art form. And that's what this is. This is an art form. This is meant to be viewed objectively or subjectively. It's what it means to you. However, the intent also matters more than the content. So I might be looking at a Marvel Legends figure, for instance, or a Transformer. I'm looking at that because I love it, and I know other people who love it, and I don't give a shit if kids see it, but I'm talking to my collector friends who I know want to buy the same thing. And if a kid sees it, fine, but that's not who I'm targeting. It's not who I'm advertising to. Build a model kit. I'm not looking to hook a kid with this. I'm not selling it to a kid. But that's not what matters. What matters is the advertisements they see. Has nothing to do with what's happening on your screen, as long as that's the thing that brought them to your screen. And if your screen shows them an ad, and once again, you have no idea who's seeing your videos. I looked at my analytics right before this. I had a very small percentage of 13 to 18-year-olds, like 5%, maybe.
Yeah.
Then it just went up until you got to the 30s, to the mid 30s and low 40s, where my maximum viewing range is. And how many of those people are just kids watching on their parents' account, regardless of where they are in the world, which is also a problem. This is the FTC of America.
Yeah.
But people watch stuff from everywhere where
Yeah.
there are different age restrictions. But are they going to start saying that it's okay for people outside of America to do the same thing and it has no effect, even though this is happening within America, so to speak? Where does the line get drawn between punishing U.S. citizens and no one else, or U.S. based channels? Are we all
Yeah.
going to have to say no? I use a VPN. I'm actually in. I'm in Great Britain. I'm in Manila. I'm not
Yeah.
in America. Forget the fact that I'm driving around Houston, Texas.
You're
it's
on
like
vacation. Very
yeah,
long
I'm on vacation. So it's like, really, where does the line ever get drawn? Is there anywhere that's even remotely safe? And I'm not saying this to scare you, but in reality, you should be more scared, because the punishments for these things are ridiculous.
Yeah. So
The biggest problem is the $42,000 fine. That's the biggest problem for everyone.
per video.
Per video. So, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, even if you get one video, that's more money than I make in a month. That's
42,000.
Oh, sorry, in a year.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was thinking 4,200. Sorry. No, if I made that much, it'd be ridiculous. But I was still not wrong.
Yeah.
But that's more than I make in a year.
Yeah.
And if it's 2 videos, well, I'm just fucked.
Yeah.
If it's 100 videos, they're gonna just take you to jail.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of, you can try to fight it, but it's the federal government you're talking about. Odds are, unless they basically see 5,000 lawsuits against them at the exact same moment, which ultimately will be the end result of this,
there will be a class action.
There will be a giant class action lawsuit against the Federal Trade Commission if they follow through with this without incredibly strict and very, very open guidelines. Because there's guys who are trying to make channel or changes to their channels and to their videos, but who's to fucking say any of that matters?
Yeah.
Because one video is marked wrong and you're fucked. Is like, which way is the hardest part? Is which way do you get fucked? Do you take the route that is honest for you, but can be judged to be dishonest by someone else?
Yeah.
And like I said, this is speaking from just our point of view, being game toy model reviewers. It really doesn't. It seems to kind of start in that section, because obviously we're the closest thing to kids content there is in vagary.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it just goes up from us to anybody who has made family-friendly content in the last decade or more. I mean, it's terrifying. But here's the it's censorship or not? Yeah. But here's the problem. It's not censorship. The problem is it should be censorship of YouTube, not censorship of the creators.
Right.
YouTube should have lost its ability to advertise indiscriminately.
Right.
And yeah, that would have meant basically no money for anybody. But it would have taken the liability off of us as content creators, because the problem is who is being advertised to is the problem.
Right.
We have no control over that. You can set age restrictions, but then it basically means that anybody who says they're over 18 can watch it.
It's like when it's the FTC is trying to be like the FCC when they regulate radio and broadcast television. and YouTube isn't like that. We're not network television.
No.
We're not, big studios. We're just guys with a camera and a microphone and some toys in our case.
Yeah.
Just filming what we love to film and talking about what we love to talk about and playing with what we would love to play with.
Yeah.
And we're not NBC, we're not ABC, we're not Fox. We shouldn't have to be.
But we're also we're not animation studios. We're not we're not a network. We're not Marvel. We're not Disney. We're not doing that. But here's the thing. Okay, so Disney would have to pull 100% of their content from YouTube.
Yeah.
But then anybody talking about Disney may have to pull all of their content from YouTube.
Yeah.
And that's only the third largest company in the world.
Right?
So the question, where does it stop? Like, we worry about it as individual small creators, but now you're talking huge corporations could be held accountable for their thousands of videos.
Yeah.
So they cannot leave it as an open book. And that's why there's so many petitions by all guys. There's change.org petitions. There's questionnaires. There are petitions on the FTC's website. Yeah. I don't have the links offhand. Search for them because everyone involved on every end of this needs to sign up for it, because YouTube this will affect
survey as well.
You can make your own. Yeah.
Well, no, YouTube has a survey.
Oh, YouTube has a survey. But the thing is like, it's not unfair in that it's happening. It's unfair in its execution. Because even given 4 months to prepare for this, 4 months is not enough to prepare your life from ending. It's basically been told you could have cancer, but you won't know until January where that cancer is in your body or if it's actually going to kill you.
Yeah. Oh, and we decide if you die or not.
And we decide if it's actually going to kill you or not what kind of cancer. It's like, we get to determine what kind of cancer it is. It's not actually determined by where it is in your body or what the cells look like. If we declare that it's cancer, you die.
Yeah.
But, and there has to be steps. There has to be levels. And we know that there will be levels, because if for instance, you're found in violation at some point, they can just say, okay, we take away this video or we nuke your channel. Fine, nuke my channel. But don't fine me $42 million for what I've spent years making.
Yeah.
Because you suddenly decided that it falls under kids content when I didn't make it for kids to watch.
Yeah.
And the funny part is, you can say, like, I've declared every single one of my videos as not made for kids, because they weren't. Like, I've never exclusively ever made a single video for kids to watch. Now, I've kept them family friendly, except for certain videos that have clearly been demonetized because of content, like the embarrassing stories nerdcast, which I won't even try to fight. I just leave it demonetized.
Yeah.
Because of the sheer amount of times shit was said in it, or other terrible things. But it shouldn't take making blatantly adult content, so to speak, to save your ass. Because say I wanted to look at, like, I've got a buttload of Transformers sitting over here that I was already way behind on reviewing, but now I'm like, do I bother? Because it's going to be seen as kids content. Or will having hardcore porn playing right beside it constantly in the background keep it from being seen as kids content?
No,
if it's a blurred out dick with an Autobot logo on the thumbnail, is that clearly not kids content anymore?
Well, and the way I'm interpreting everything is, even if you're cursing in your videos, it doesn't matter.
That's the other thing. They used to limit you if you were cursing.
Yeah.
But because it doesn't matter if it's family friendly, it's whether or not it's kid attractive.
Which is stupid.
Yeah, because I could say fuck 38 times in a Gundam review, but who
But if
cares?
you're showing this toy,
Yeah.
kids are gonna watch.
If kids watch it, if kids are interested in it, which, by the way, how do they know? If they're not allowed to collect data on a kid watching, how do they know they're kids?
Well,
I mean, I
before
get that
this,
they.
YouTube does know.
Yeah,
YouTube
so
and Google does know.
YouTube must know, but the only way this is the fucked up part. The only way they know that these are kids watching is by the content they're watching.
Yeah. Maybe.
Well, that's what the targeting was about.
Yeah.
So you watch a Peppa Pig video, then you watch another Peppa Pig video, then you watch a Peppa Pig toy video, then that leads you to other toy videos. They can literally trace back the branch and just go, clearly this person likes kids stuff. Odds are this is a person under 13 watching this. But they literally have no right to ask if they suspect, which means it must be reported that it is, because a parent could do it.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the other part. It needs to be, and that was part of it, a parent or an adult consent essentially to watching.
Right.
To watching, but not to collecting. So the thing is like that should be on the part, that should be the part that's held up to on the viewer side. When you create a YouTube account, there needs to be a clear, I'm going to be a creator or I'm not going to be a creator. That needs to be a thing. If you're never going to create a video, you're just here to watch, you need to have a whole strict rules of standards there. And they need to say, they need to include it. If you are a kid, you hit below 13. And that is, but here's what I'm saying. Kids lie. However, that's where they have to collect data to determine if it is. But the thing is, if your account is set up by an adult and then everything is locked by said adult and it says, this is a child watching this video, like you can do on YouTube Kids.
Yeah.
That needs to be a setting on regular YouTube and it should be locked in, unchangeable with the exception of a parental password.
Well, unchangeable until your date of birth hits 13.
Or and that's what I'm saying. Cannot be altered. Now, if other accounts start being signed into and then watching the same content, is like at that point, if they suddenly know that this account is linked to this account, because generally if you're going to do that, you'll be a parent, you'll have that as a main account, you'll set up a sub account or whatever as a kid, and all of a sudden starts watching kids content on daddy's account, that's going to be kind of obvious. So at some point, they have to hold the watchers accountable more than they do the creators. Now, mind you, the guys who are blatantly creating kids content and advertising directly to kids, there's a place for them. But the people who are massively in the gray area, which is virtually everyone, with the exception of dirty comedians who have their podcasts and whatnot everywhere, which clearly kids aren't going to be watching.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, I'm not saying they never will. I'm saying they're not looking for it.
Right.
And most of those guys are sponsored. They have their own sponsored ads and things like that, their own things. They don't have to have AdSense.
Right.
So, okay. Like my little brother, he's saving for a $200 figure. We're slightly ignoring the thing here. Hold on. I'm going to scroll back a little bit here. Okay, so Spicy said, I'd gladly take a job with the FTC to review content so they can compensate me fairly. You mean by paying you $42,000 per video you catch? Oh, I'll be sure to. Bruh, I'm broke. If I get fined $42,000, I'm dead. Yep, there will actually be people committing suicide over this, and that's not even a joke. Funny enough, even though Hot Toys Marvel reviews have been marked as kids content. Yeah, because it says Marvel, and it says toy. So I hope I can't be found. Okay, so how many 13-year-olds collect $250 figures? Exactly, but because it says Marvel. But that's where there has to be a line drawn between collector content and kids content.
Yeah.
And it can't be drawn at the what is it level.
Right.
You know, or that actually is where it needs to be. Because it says Marvel Captain America doesn't mean it's for kids.
I mean, Marvel itself. I mean, if you're watching kids cartoons all day on cable TV, you're going to see action figure, the
Yeah.
cheap action figures. You're going to see commercials for those, but they're not advertising those high-end figures on Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network.
No, actually, they really. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, you're right. 100%. Just like my Flame Toys kits.
Right.
Those $300, $400 kits, figures, $300, $400 figures. Third-party Transformers are generally you'll never be able to buy them in stores, and they're expensive.
Yeah. So if the toy manufacturers, are if Marvel Studios and Disney are marketing to multiple demographics, you can't regulate just based on a name, just based on a Marvel brand.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Marvel has an Adult X series of comics for adults only. So that's the other thing. Comics aren't safe. Guys who review comics aren't safe. So there needs to be a straight safe haven that you can still be able to communicate with your people be able to see their stuff. And I mean on YouTube.
Okay, I was going to say, because
I know that, yeah. On YouTube. If YouTube wants to remain a viable...
You can start uploading to Pornhub.
What did I see?
There is a guy.
The Jake Paul KSI fight. I'm sorry, Logan Paul KSI fight was on Pornhub.
Yeah.
The full fight was uploaded to Pornhub because they knew they couldn't advertise it technically here on YouTube, even though it was a YouTube pay-per-view event.
Yeah.
How about that? Pay-per-view events on YouTube for 18 plus content. That's a thing that can happen. But kids could watch that if they're with, but it's a problem, and to say that there's no right solution right now is an understatement.
Yes.
But if there was a simple solution, it would be, and it's the worst solution for everybody who makes money on the things, is to literally just take away targeting ads, all ads, except, and here's it's like, if they can't determine one way or another if people are going to watch a thing if they're a kid or not, and they can't go specifically by what the thumbnail shows, because that's the case, I'm just going to have a blank thing with a title as my thumbnails, and you just have to click on it to see what it is.
Yeah.
And then the first thing up will be a big old dick, and then for 12 minutes it'll just be a throbbing penis, and then I'll get to my review, because hopefully a kid would have stopped watching by then.
You'd be surprised how many kids would be like, look at the throbbing penis.
Yeah, exactly. A $300 hot toy Darth Vader versus $20 Black Series. The main issue here is that the law was drafted in 1998 and not been updated and created, and crusty old white dudes don't know the difference between the Casper comic and the other things. True. But the laws are being... The COPA laws, or the COPA Act, I should say.
Yeah.
It has to be updated. It will be updated before these changes really take effect, because it's too many people at risk. It's not a small thing that's at risk here.
Yeah.
It's fine to say your livelihood might get fucked with because you lose monetization or your channel gets taken.
Yeah.
But it's another thing to say that you could literally imprison thousands of people for just making a video that kids saw an advertisement on. So they can't go at it lightly. And I know the FTC doesn't go at it lightly, but everything has to be 1000% clear. And YouTube needs to offer, as soon as those rules are kind of set in stone, YouTube needs to offer solutions to creators.
Yeah.
Now, not legal advice, alternate solutions if they need to stay. If they want to make money as a company, they have to do that.
Right. And they need to change that whole permanent change thing. I didn't know it was permanent, because I was just like, yeah, okay, fine. Not for
yeah. We'll see, Thomas, that's the problem. We talked about that earlier. I don't know if you missed that or not. While they like the idea of giant corporate entities those companies are making kids content that are being advertised on, which means they are still as guilty as an individual creator. Now, mind you, they've got trillions of dollars to help protect themselves. What's funny is I moved my table just enough that it looked like you were shaking my camera with your pen. So, I mean, if YouTube wants to only be able to monetize and make money off of giant corporations, then make it be that. And remove all monetization and all targeting ads and all of that from basic creators across the entire platform.
Right.
Because then they'll only make their money from a very specific place. And then if those places are somehow shielded from all of this, which will be the biggest bullshit in this situation, then fine. But we already know they don't care about creators. That was obvious at the outrage from last year's Rewind.
Yeah.
And so I remember when a month ago, the only thing people were really concerned with is what it's going to be. Is PewDiePie's wedding going to be referenced in this YouTube Rewind, or the fact that he hit 100 million? So, okay, he makes content for anybody to watch. He never specifically targets anything. And sometimes he cusses. Sometimes he played slightly more lewd things, even playing slightly more suggestive games to just mess around over the years. But you're talking about somebody who's been on the platform for 10 years.
Yeah.
Has thousands of videos and has already been through a ton of bullshit with being censored and, using a bad word and this, that, and the other. Now, to tell him that there's almost nothing on his channel that could be considered under his regular content made for kids, but he does meme review. He reacts to TikTok videos, which kids love. He plays video games, Minecraft. Like, where does it stop? Who does it not affect? And that's the biggest problem. It's just going to be Mr. Beast donating to YouTubers in debt. No, it's just like at some point, YouTube will either completely go under because of this, because everyone will abandon the platform, but then we end up moving to other platforms that will eventually
they'll get hit too.
They'll get hit too.
Honestly, I'm surprised they didn't. I mean, if the issue is that anyone can create an account under the age of 13 and just lie, then anyone can also create an account under the age of 18 and lie and get to all these porn websites.
That has never happened ever, Joey. What are you talking
about? And you don't even need an account for most of those.
Yes, technically speaking, PewDiePie is the largest channel by subscribers of an individual person. Technically, T-Series still has more. But nobody gives a shit about T-Series. He gets more views than T-Series does. So
what's T-Series?
T-Series is that giant Indian music corporation. They're basically the UMC of or UMG of India. They own the rights to basically any and all music videos and music and everything like that. So they upload basically everything made in India to T-Series page. And of course they have over 1 billion people in their country. So once they started signing everybody up, every single person who, and this is the bullshit about T-Series, and this was discovered in the war between him and them and PewDiePie. If you signed up for a YouTube account in India, you were automatically subscribed to T-Series. They were also caught using bots to create accounts because people were actively watching the sub gap.
Yeah.
And in 1 second, they gained 5,000 subscribers. It's like, hey, how does that happen? And they suddenly gain 5,000 subscribers. I think we should all move to Twitch live streams. I don't want to do live streams constantly.
I don't want to do live streams constantly either.
Okay, so Misty has to rate website content for her job. You guys are big Gunpla fans. How many of you are familiar with Gunpla Melly? Oh, we're very familiar. And I have an opinion on her based entirely off of her Dynamis review. She has the most watched MG Dynamis review.
Yep.
Despite only being on the platform for a handful of months.
Yep.
And there's only 2 reasons for this.
Yep.
And they're in the thumbnail.
Yep.
And other guys are less polite or more
Now-
polite and won't say anything.
Here's the thing, though, is I don't blame her for that.
Oh,
because
no.
it's not her fault that works.
I blame the weeboos and everybody else like that who basically just go tits in the thumbnail. And it's actually funny if you actually go to her page, if you scroll through her videos, the ones where she's more covered up, surprisingly have less views. Go figure. And I don't watch her stuff, but
I'm subscribed. I think she's funny, and she puts on a decent show.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't, but I've heard other people say she's just so as a reviewer and a builder. Like, it's just meh. Of course, there were reports that her boyfriend was building everything at one point, not her. I don't really care about any of that. It's just
Whatever.
the idea that there are people like Mecha Gaikotsu who've been here forever, make genuine good content, and don't have, and basically she's just blowing them away in views under the sheer fact that her tits are in the thumbnail. That's it. That's all I care about.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know. It's a non-issue for me.
Yeah. But I mean, like, if I were to use my wife's tits in the thumbnail, would my views go up? Because I've considered it.
Jane, if you're still watching, we'll talk later. I'm going to get in trouble for that.
I don't know. Cute Asian girl in the thumbnail. Even if it's not like lewd, just have her like in the thumbnail.
She would never go for it.
I don't mean even like in a sexy way. I don't even mean it like just.
I know.
It's Jane, and she's just always there to help represent said Gunpla.
That'd be fun.
Not even objectifying, just having her in the thumbnail.
Having her, that might work.
Even like, I think that would be funny. I would watch every day. Oh yeah, that's what Josh said. But I think the idea that back on topic.
Yeah.
Well, also that she's not here. She's overseas, right?
Yeah.
Melly.
Oh, Melly?
Yeah.
No, she lives in. I think she's in California. But
really, I thought she was overseas.
No, she goes to Japan a lot. Maybe once.
Yeah, because she has Kit's day of release. That's why I was confused.
She has Kit's day of release.
Oh no, she doesn't. Well, she might sometimes, but I realized that her Dynamis review was like 2 months behind even Zach's.
Yeah.
So that makes sense that she would have less. Melly's in Florida. Okay. Yeah. I guess once again, I don't watch her stuff because I just wasn't interested. It's like,
she was in one of the sunny states.
Let's just be honest here. I don't watch a whole lot of other Gunpla reviewers. I might be subscribed to them, but I don't really watch their stuff. Mostly because if I'm building the same thing, I don't want my opinion based off of their opinion. And I mentioned this with Thomas Rice.
Yep.
If I'm going to build a kit to review, I won't watch a review of it.
Right. Yeah.
I have to build my own review ahead of time. Now, if I want to watch it after the fact, that's fine. But I'm definitely I don't care. Like, I have the few people that I'll like their content, and whether I watch it much or not, I do like the way they do things. So I'm still subscribed to Zach.
Yeah.
I like the way he does things. And, I want to support a fellow Gundam creator as best I can. And every now and then I'll watch his like tips on videos and stuff like that. But like
Zach's actually originally from Illinois.
I know he is. I know he's from here.
Yeah.
I saw her at BuildCon. Okay. Misty rates her content for a job for website algorithms. Yeah, how does that work? Like, what is her content rated as? That's what I want to know. Like, because once again, this comes down to content versus intent. So her intent is to talk about the kit, and the content is to have said kit around and show it off and whatnot, right? But what else is included in said video? I'm not saying anything in particular, but it's like where does the line get drawn?
Yeah.
For what? And once again, that doesn't even come down to that. For where it works for kids.
Right.
But like right now, if they decide that any and all Gundam stuff is classified. And this is the thing, when the algorithm ran through my channel with its very vague assumptions, none of my Gundam stuff got hit that I saw. I didn't go through all of my videos, but I went through the first couple pages. Didn't see anything on my main channel. Secondary channel got popped for a couple of Transformers reviews. Unboxing Art had a couple of his reviews, and he does almost nothing but toys and collectibles. So unless you go back like 3 years on his channel where he's doing all Slipknot masks and stuff like that, it's a very different story.
Yeah.
But he got hit with a few things on his channel. And mind you, the algorithm literally wasn't saying that you're stuck here. It was just a vague notion of this might be considered this. So you might want to look into it and see if this qualifies, kind of a hint at it. But if no Gundam stuff was considered, maybe because it's Japanese in origin, but some Transformers stuff is. And I mean some, like out of all of my Transformers reviews, my Siege Springer review got popped.
Okay.
Because it's one of my more recent ones.
Yeah.
And from what I saw, none of my Flame Toy stuff was. So where does the line get drawn on a Transformer? I
didn't even go through my stuff before I was like, none of it's for kids. So I don't know what was flagged originally or what wasn't. I don't know.
Yeah. And see what Zach, or what Carl said about Zach's content, if he's doing the actual model building, is that considered kids content because it can be considered educational.
Well, what's the suggested age on a kit's box? On a model kit's box? Do they have a suggested age anymore?
Yeah, there are. Hold on. I
was going to say, because you go through the boxes in all your reviews.
I just lost my other headset there. Well, I assume that the not safe for 3-year-olds is part of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know that there's a specific age range mentioned. It would help if I had one that was in English.
Yeah.
Handy. But somewhere on here it talks about ages, but I don't know that there's anything. MG. Okay, so HD is 8+, so to speak. MG and RG are 15+. But once again, that's that's something that's set in a foreign country.
Yeah.
So what are the standards for that here?
Because I can guarantee you most American children, and I'm sure this is different for children of Gunpla builders, but most American children don't have the attention span to sit down and build a model kit unless they're sitting down with a parent to do it.
That knows what it is. But here's the thing about it. It's sold by Bluefin now as an American company. Based off a Japanese property that is sort of shown over here, more or less. But does it fall under kids content? Because we watch Gundam. Not all Gundam is kid friendly. Some of it is definitely made for kids.
Lately, it's been for kids, but like for the most part, I mean,
it's an adult-ish show.
Yeah, before Build Divers or before Build Fighters. The only thing that was really meant for kids was G Gundam. I would say was for kids, and
violent but kid friendly,
and SD.
Yeah, the SD system. Yeah. Okay, so Spicy says Bluefin set everything to 15+. Okay, so if model kits are rated at 15+, which is above the kids' age range, technically speaking, and they take that into consideration, then any and all Gunpla related stuff should be safe.
Right.
In theory. In theory. But meaning that a kid can see it and access it, but it's not targeted towards kids because the thing itself is not targeted to kids specifically.
So I happen to have one box handy, the Love Phantom.
Yeah.
And it's got the Bluefin marker on it. It does say for ages 15 and up.
The Bluefin does. Okay. So if they take that specifically into context, then and that might be our only argument as Gundam channels, that Gunpla related content is specifically rated 15+ by the manufacturer. Yeah, would a kid be interested in a kit that's basically a plastic hand grenade? Maybe.
And even the English writing part of the actual box doesn't have anything other than
It doesn't have anything actually age rated, technically speaking.
Yeah.
It's safety warnings for young kids, but that's about
right. Yeah.
it. Oh, technically speaking, if it has a small parts warning, is it just instantly negated? Like it just says, okay, fuck this, kids can't look at it. So does that automatically shield us? Robot Damacy is 15 plus. Yeah, it's a Bandai thing. Yeah, everything Gundam Universe all come in by Bluefin, guys.
Yeah.
It's like, duh.
But like, does the
so,
actual Japanese box say an age range? Because I know the Bluefin.
I don't think so.
does.
I would think
Not
maybe
on
not.
Not
But
on
if they were saying things, oh yeah, you're right. They were saying that MGs and RGs were targeted at 15 up, and HGs were targeted at 8 plus.
Right.
But I've never seen that personally. You know, just in whatever I've done. But it's also nothing I've ever had to look for.
Right.
But then again, you know, something like a ball kit, a much simpler thing, or I'm sorry, a Haro. I just call everything around balls at this point. Technically speaking, if I just use the word ball in every title, I'll be safe because they will automatically make sure nobody can see it because it says balls.
My high grade Universal Penis Century kit that I'm working on.
Penis Century.
Yeah.
Recommended 15 plus. Okay. Hot Toys and NECA label their figures not as toys for children. But what somebody said earlier in the Pixel Dan video, when he was talking about the Motu figures that he collects, it says adult collectible on the box. But those got hit. So it's a toy for older people. Not like that, Joey.
What?
Not like the wooden dicks.
Oh, yeah, right.
So, but like, at what point do they draw the line for that? Because if one thing says that it isn't, and then another thing, it's like that's where it has to have an exact set of rules. And it can't just be, that's a toy, it counts.
Right. And it can't just be, well, like you said, it can't just
Okay, so he said, sorry, Josh says MG Dynamis box has factory printed ages 15 plus on the box.
Okay. So we've got.
There we go. We're safe. I will literally, like every video, this video is for children 15 and up as per Bluefin Boxing. Because I don't even think there's a disclaimer you could include that will like help save your ass. It's like, that's a problem. Is there's no real, I mean, this is where you would need a lawyer realistically to be like, look, this is what I do. I don't do this to target kids. I do this for fun, to talk to other builders and collectors. And all of this content is technically rated 15 plus by the manufacturer of said thing. Yeah, I've been cut and or stabbed by kids. Yeah, that's true. In the eyes of the what? AI and the FTC, there is no line. Everything is toys, regardless of franchise, age, or range. But see, that's the problem. Is a toy could be anything that's attracted to a kid that a kid would play with. So, you know, and then before, when we were talking about if your channel was going to get hit, and this is something, a discussion I had with Art the other day, because I was watching his latest video, and I was scrolling down, and after I got past my regular suggestions of other people I watch, it was nothing but kids content in the suggestion box, like straight kids, like Ryan's World, other stuff like that. And I told him, dude, go change your tags right now, because if you have toys or toy review or anything in the tag, it start assuming that you're a main, like a quote, an actual like toy reviewer, so to speak, and will lump you into kids content. So start removing any and all tags for those things. And I did, and I made a difference in my suggestions. I made a difference in my views going up because it was no longer being age gated, which we discovered earlier this year was happening. So, I mean, in reality, it's like, is there any safe harbor for anybody right now? Because we don't have a set guidelines, and we won't know anything until January when it actually takes effect.
Yeah.
It's like, and is there a minor grace period? No, because they're saying right now is the grace period. Like, fix your shit ahead of time. It's like, how do I fix my entire channel?
Yeah, if I don't know
what
I'm
fixing? Even give us. It's like, I don't know what to fix.
Yeah.
if there's nothing that says this will keep you out of being considered kids content, when this rule says your kids content, it's like, what the fuck? How do I fix this? Like, how does anybody do it? It's like, is a live stream build considered kids content? Is a live unboxing of something considered kids content? It's like, where is the line? Yeah, definitely change all your labels. Right now, no. There's no way to. Yeah, hot toys becomes hot adult collectibles. Yeah, but that's funny. I actually deleted the Flame Toys tags. It's fine. I had to leave it in title so that you could find it, but out of the tags, I wasn't considering. Misty says that most normies would rate any video with a toy in sight as for kids, and that's a problem.
Yeah, that's the crux of the issue, is that the people that are going to be going through and rating these videos, if they don't know what they're looking at, they're going to be like, oh, that's a toy. That's a toy. That's a toy.
Yeah. But it's like, do they even bother with the fact, like, first that you said, look, this is a not for kids channel? That should be the first thing they look at, and they should look at it and go, why is it considered not for kids? And then they would have to look at the content.
Right. But
then they have to look at it subjectively, because objectively, it's just all toys.
Yeah.
And so it has to come down to the subject, how it's presented, how the person presents it, which they even state, the way you speak and talk about the thing could make a difference.
I don't know. Honestly, I've been kind of wanting to nuke my own channel for a while and just start over.
Yeah. But hell, even starting over now isn't a great option.
Right. Well, I could start over after all the rules.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is, like, but at what point does everyone get forced to do that?
Oh God.
Like January 3rd, once all the FTC notifications start hitting? And do they go through the YouTube video system to actually notify us of issues?
Is this just a way for the federal government to pay off its debt?
Shit. There is no line. Most people are not going to know, because there are people like her that work out from their homes working for the FTC, but they have time constraints. Yeah. If they're set, like, you have to plow through this many videos this time. But, like, okay, so automatically saying this is for children basically fucks your entire channel, except if for your subscribers.
Yeah.
Because it's the only way you're going to be seen. But you can't talk to them. You can't monetize. And aside from manually looking through every video you upload, because even notifications won't work.
Yeah.
You won't get views. But views won't matter, because you won't be making a dime.
And I think the thing that upsets me the most about that is taking off comments. Because, like, even if you're not be able to monetize through YouTube, if you get sponsorship, you want to be able to communicate with your audience. So, like, why not just set it up so, like, the comments automatically like put the stars, asterisks for, curse words and hate words and all that other stuff.
Well, I don't even understand why eliminate comments.
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
They literally want to make it so that it gets no attention.
Okay.
What?
Okay. Jane, you should be commenting this stuff instead of sending me directly. She says, your government and YouTube needs to stop being snowflakes.
We haven't called people snowflakes in a while. Well, the problem is that the snowflakes were not the problem in this case. The snowflakes weren't the ones actually committing any of the felonies that YouTube and Google were technically committing.
Right.
But they can only find them so far. And then, of course, YouTube says, okay, we're not playing that game anymore. So, wait, it's not our fault that we advertised and collected data on kids. That's not our fault.
Yeah. The way they've managed to pass this on to the creators instead of just owning it, really, that's the core of the issue, I think, is YouTube
screwing over its creators as usual. They already were making it harder to make money. Like
Yeah.
the ads were already dropping off.
Right.
They're still
Which
steady, but
I
they
wonder
made
if that was a prelude to all this. Like they knew this whole law thing was an issue.
yeah, they were doing it anyways
Yeah. So,
because they didn't think they were going to get caught.
right, but they knew they were about to get caught. They knew they were about to go to court, so they started limiting the ads anyway, like as a precursor.
And you could tell
they were giving you a courtesy lick before they fucked you.
Yeah, but really, what they were doing prior to this was the shadow age gating. They would age gate you and never tell you. So if you had things that were considered kid friendly, you would start getting, or kid targeted, you would start getting age gated. Nobody would see your stuff without having to come to your channel. If you use certain tags, use certain words, they would automatically age gate it so that nobody would see it.
Is that why your viewership was hitting the tanks?
Yeah. That's why my viewership went down despite my subs. Why my Balls for Balls contest got no traction despite every effort on my part. Because nobody was seeing it. My subscribers weren't seeing it. You know, they weren't getting notifications and they weren't seeing it without scrolling through my videos. All because it said balls. You know?
I wonder, is there a way to monetize your Facebook? Like if you make a Facebook page?
Yeah, you can, but you have to generate enough stuff. Because you can advertise things through there too. It also goes the other way. You can sell ads as well, or buy ads, I should say. But this is the problem. Okay, so assuming, and this is where a lot of YouTubers were trying to find a solution, and we don't even know if it'll work. So all these guys who basically have had to say that their content is made for kids have lost a third or more of their money on average because, frankly, no money to be made on their thousands of videos. So they've resorted to doing more Patreon. Like, please help support my channel at $1 a month, which is the bare minimum.
Yeah.
You could literally make up for all the advertising revenue, and I can keep doing this because I want to. But, and this is what I said, if you're not advertising and you run into this situation where you've made a quote unquote for kids video, but you didn't monetize it, but you said it was not for kids. Like I said, every one of my videos is not for kids. And I turn off monetization on every video I have. And they go, no, this is a kid targeted video. Can they come after me if I'm not advertising?
Well, considering it's the FTC, probably.
But that's where I'm saying that's where the line would need to be drawn between if just not monetizing is the ultimate solution.
Right.
To be able to make your content like you always did without editing in any way, shape, or form the way you function, just completely demonetize yourself, which is what they will do to you anyways.
Right.
In one option. That should just be the solution. And then literally everyone has to have a paywall. If they want to make money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you want to make money at it, but you can't advertise, the only way to do it is by crowdfunding. And the only way to do that is Patreon or other type situations where you can just have your money sent to you monthly by your fans. And you can have, even Balt Matrix talked about this because he's having to do it too. He had never wanted to do a Patreon and he had to set one up. He set it up as a base $1 buy-in and you can have access to 100% of his content.
Yeah.
You know, so if basically setting up a paywall, the other option is you go 100% your own website.
That's expensive.
Yep. But if you can advertise however the hell you want and sell your own ad space, and there's no age rating or anything like that because it's your fucking website, then that would be your only other way to go.
Well, until we start saying that all content creators on the internet are subject to COPPA.
And then everyone is fucked.
Yeah.
But the thing is that on your own personal website, you can literally state you have to be of this age, this content is made for whatever. You have a disclaimer, page 1, and then at that point, you've done the only thing you can do to prevent anyone from underage from watching your videos.
Right. Well, the FCC wants to charge people to access the internet anyway.
Yeah.
So maybe I wonder if it's a precursor to that bullshit.
I don't know. I don't know what the end result of this is. But if the changes go through as currently set up and as vaguely described, YouTube will be out of business. Because either nobody will be able to advertise or they will just end up getting screwed over in the end run anyways. They can pass the buck all they like, but at some point they're still responsible. Because we don't have the ability to set our ads. We just have off and on.
Right.
The only other way you can do that is by having a sponsored video that has no advertisements. You just have a sponsored video. And in that case, what do? Like, say you're not monetized, so YouTube's not running any ads, but you have a sponsored video, so you have to talk about said sponsor in the video. Who's advertising to the kid if that's where they're watching?
So
where's that gray area?
What if you have a sponsored video that's sponsored by,
Fleshlight?
I was gonna say like a toy store, or a toy manufacturer.
Literally a kid's ad.
Yeah, literally a kid's ad.
Well, okay, like anybody who gets free figures or something from like Big Bad Toy Store or Robot Kingdom or stuff like that, where they're sent things to review for free.
Right.
It's technically a sponsored video. Where does that fall? Who's responsible for that?
Big Bad Toy Store is not marketing towards kids,
even though their name is literally Toy Store.
Right, but they're big and bad.
Yeah, but that's not the point. The point is, if it's a sponsored video, where does that fall? Like, honestly, how does that fall into this category?
I think there's too much that these old people at the FCC aren't considering because they don't know. They're not in it.
And I think that's where, and I know it's never going to happen, but that's where YouTube would have to stand up to defend their own platform.
Yeah. I'm sure
like,
Google has
as a viable entertainment platform. I know they don't give a shit about their creators, but as the way they make their fucking money and exist as an actual entity, they need to stand up for themselves as their thing and be like, look, it's like there's too much gray. It's like you can look at the black and white all you want, but 99% of this is a gray zone.
Yeah.
And you cannot hold that 99% to this 1% rule. It's too hard. And like that's always been the biggest problem with YouTube in and of its own self, the lack of regulation.
Well, I mean, that's the internet, though. The internet.
It is. The internet, yeah. But it's just like, how do you get from me being a Gundam reviewer or just model builder in general, because that's not just 100% what I am, to being you're not a kid friendly or you're not a made for kids channel, so you're safe always. Where does that get changed to where 100% you're safe because your content is not under that category? And that's where they have to analyze their line. They can't just draw that hard line.
Right.
Because not 100% of everything is in that category. It's like a toy can mean so many things. An action figure can mean so many things. And kids could give a fuck less. So in our category, across the board, we're fucked until somebody realizes that. And YouTube Kids, honestly, doesn't matter. It's like they don't give a shit about it. They're not making money off of it, clearly, unless they have kid-friendly advertisements on their kid stuff, which makes sense. Is what they would do. But I don't do that, so I have no idea what it works.
Right.
But if I just want to know that there is an option that I can literally flip a switch and be 100% safe and make all the content I want.
Right.
And then there be an option for me to make money at it as well.
Yeah.
Even if it's not from YouTube. Now, I can make a video, which I may do soon, about, look, I got to turn off monetization, but I need to be able to afford to keep doing this. So please join the Patreon. There's just the $1 option. I only have $1 and $5 option now anyways.
Right.
So if it comes down to it and you like my content, and this is going to be from probably every creator everyone likes at this point, if you want to see them be able to actually keep existing, you're going to have to support them or they're going to go away.
Yeah. And no one can afford to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's already too many streaming services. Can you imagine if everyone had to donate just $1 to everyone they were subscribed to on YouTube?
Yeah, but there's also the people that have brand deals. There are the people who can be safe and actually make money. But like even what Balt Matrix said on his video, if 10% of his subscribers donated $1, he'd be able to he would survive.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. 10%. That's it. I mean, I would to make equal money per month of what I make right now, I would only need 10% to donate $1. That's it. To make what I make right now from my AdSense, I would only need 10% to donate $1 a month. That's it. And I have 3 people that signed up for $5 a month and one of them is one of my best friends. So
you need like
however far back goes.
You need like 40 or 50 people. Just 40 or 50 people to give you $1.
Basically, I need 40 or 50 people to basically donate $1, and I could turn off monetization, period. And that's kind of the truth for most basic creators as it is.
Oh, you know? Yeah.
But see, like, that's the thing. You can move to Vimeo, and then you're using Patreon to pay so that you can host on Vimeo. But if your Patreon subscribers go away, who cares? Because the thing is, you can do Patreon all day long and still use YouTube server to host your videos. Because if they're set to unlisted, then it really doesn't matter. Because if literally nobody has the ability to see it, then they can't stop what you're putting out. So if the only place that is viewable is via your Patreon or via your own website and you're only using YouTube to host as a server, and you end run the money without going through Google or YouTube entirely, then realistically you should be safe.
So,
in theory.
Huh.
Basically, you put up your paywall.
Yeah.
And however many people shift it over to Patreon or whatever website they're going to use to basically post is really what it's going to come down to. And then you're only linking back to YouTube to watch the video. But it's unlisted because you can post all your unlisted stuff all you like on, like, a lot of my Patreon videos are just set to unlisted and they can watch them on my Patreon.
Interesting. It used to be that if your video is unlisted, only the first 50 people can view it. I think they got rid of that a couple years ago, though.
Yeah. But see, that's where it's bullshit because people do that anyway, Spicy. There are whole channels that do that for 90% of their content. So that's not true. They can say whatever they want, stating no sales at a service. But the thing is those same videos are still being seen and they still have ads on them. and the rest of the stuff still have ads on them. So in reality, it already happens. You can say that you can't, but Bobby Skullface does that. He makes 10 times as much content for his Patreon subscribers than he does for his regular videos. And depending on how much you're paying, you get access to even more of it. But he only shares 3-4 videos a week now on his main channel. And then everything else goes through Patreon, and it's all set to unlisted, and he shares it there.
Interesting.
Oh, and the new terms of service changes. Well, then they're going to lose Then they're going to lose everything. That's the whole point. Fuck them at that point. Just, fuck them at that point. Then basically YouTube needs to stop advertising and start charging their creators to host their shit.
Well, that might be what they do.
Because honestly, that's what it's going to come to. The only way they're going to make money and the only way they have people having any videos on their fucking things. So fuck them at that point, if that's what it comes down to. Because then they're no better than any other service anywhere, and that's the point. I mean, if that's under the new terms of service that you can't do that, then there's no point in any creator being on this platform.
I kind of want to look at these new terms of service.
Okay, now it says, and no sponsored ads. That makes no goddamn sense.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't do that. Come on.
Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I did get the email about new terms of service, but nobody reads terms of service.
Right.
Actually, I got to figure out where that was. That was way back. Actually, fuck it. I'll just bring it up here. I can screen share.
There you go.
I love you too. Okay, so I got to bring this up. Okay, so go back to the YouTubes. Now I have to figure out where the hell the terms of service are.
Control F.
Is it?
It should just be, if you're on the actual website, because I pulled it up on my phone.
Oh, I'm sure it's a thing. I just have no idea where to go. Come on, it's taking 3 days to load. Go figure. Also, I'm getting really tired of these Mandalorian spoilers being all over YouTube. I have not watched it. I keep seeing all these spoilers and thumbnails. I'm getting pissed off about it. Okay, hold on. Where do I go? Your data in YouTube. That's interesting. Okay, so is that under Google account? You find out where it is and then tell me so I can go to the...
Okay. Because if you're on your mobile, it's...
Which I'm not.
No, it's so much easier to get to if you're on mobile.
Yeah. Well, they had all the prompts at the top of the screen before. Other features, none. Let's see here. Let's go to updates. Or is that just going to be creator updates? That's YouTube Studios. None of this matters.
Oh, on your sidebar, where your home trending, yada yada.
Where is it?
And it just says terms.
Do I have the wrong thing up? I'm in Studio. Maybe that won't be there.
Yeah, get out of Studio.
Okay, hold on. I really also hate the way they've done that, where you're in Studio and just clicking on the thing won't take you back to the main page. You have to go over and click on
your profile.
Go back to YouTube.
Yeah.
All right. What am I looking at here? Show more?
No, don't hit show more. Just scroll to the bottom of that sidebar.
Ah, crap. Now I got to scroll till I can't see. There we go. Okay.
And then click on terms. And then at the top, it even says preview the updated terms.
Oops. I must have hit the wrong thing. This is try experimental new features. I must have clicked the wrong.
Oh, God. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Oh, I missed it. I didn't click on terms. Okay. Let's see this bullshit. All right. So I'm going to bring this up. If I can screen share. Chrome tab, please. Okay. So it should be up on the screen for everybody to see now. Let's go play with here. Our service, doesn't do much for you. The advertising on YouTube policies, is that what we need?
Probably.
Let's just scroll through here. YouTube is under no obligation to host or serve content. That's funny. Okay. There's the new YouTube Kids privacy notice. I wish it would highlight the new stuff.
Right.
Okay. Following restrictions apply to your use of the service. You're not allowed to access, reproduce, download, blah, 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 circumvent, disable, fraudulently engage with, or otherwise interfere with parts of the service. I don't know what that means exactly, but I don't care. Access the service using any automated means, no bots. Okay. Collect or harvest any information that might identify a person. Okay. People totally do that. Use the service to distribute unsolicited promotional or commercial content, unwanted or mass solicitations. Cause or encourage any inaccurate measurements of genuine or user engagement with the service, including paying people or providing them with incentives to increase videos views. It's funny. Misuse any reporting flagging. Yep. Run contests on or through the service that do not comply with the YouTube contest policies and guidelines. Use the service to view or listen to content other than for personal non-commercial use. For example, you may not publicly screen videos or stream music through the service. Okay. Use the service to sell any advertising, sponsorships, or promotions placed on, around, or within the service, other than those allowed in the advertising on YouTube policies, which seems to be the thing we need to go look at, as compliant product placements, such as compliant product placements, or B, sell advertising, sponsorship, or promotions on any page or website or application that only contains content from the service. My page for YouTube videos is the main draw for you. That's weird. Let's go to advertising on YouTube. Alcohol advertising. Let's do that. Scams or phishing, software downloads, unbranded ads or branded channels, user-generated content and ads. I don't know what this is under. I don't know where that would be.
Yeah, I don't know where it would say that you can't put up an ad wall or a monetization wall.
Here we go. Let's go. Let's go. What are they going to consider that? Remarketing? I'm going to look at paid product placements and endorsements. Let's look at that.
Okay.
You may include product placements, endorsements, or other content that requires disclosure to viewers. We know that. You have to say, this is a thing. All paid promotions need to conform to our ad policies. In addition, creators and brands are responsible for understanding and complying with their legal obligations to disclose paid promotions. I think for the most part, that's what matters in that case.
Which part? I'm sorry, I was
reading. The paid promotions. So you basically have to disclose that.
Well, it's always been like that.
The sponsored video. Yeah, that's always been that way. So I don't think that's changed. I'm not going. Okay, I think it's remarketing might be what they're worried about. So maybe that actually had nothing to do with anything. Brand list surveys. I'm not looking at anything, so I don't know somebody's. YouTube is okay. So nobody else has made comments about it so far.
Yeah.
No sales of the service and no sponsored ads. See permissions and restrictions. That's not useful.
Okay. Let's see.
Let's go back here.
So this is on their current one though. This is their.
I'm looking at the future one. This is the upcoming.
Okay. So on the new one, number 10 reads, use the service to A, sell any advertising, sponsorship, or promotions placed on, around, or within the service or content other than those allowed in the advertising on YouTube policies, such as compliant product placements, or B,
Okay, that
sell
makes sense.
advertising. Yeah, or B, sell advertising, sponsorships, or promotions on any page of any website or application that only contains content from the service or where content from the service is the primary basis for such sales. For example, selling ads on a web page where YouTube videos are the main draw for users visiting the website.
I don't think that restricts it from being Patreon.
I don't think so either.
Because Patreon doesn't have to be exclusively your videos.
Right.
You can put up lots of content on there. So where it says only website or application that only contains that. So I think that only means the thing. So Patreon guys, usually they'll put up posts. They're going to put up pictures. They're going to make videos and upload them directly to Patreon, not just YouTube. So that use of only is the thing. So say you have a website, but you're writing articles, you're putting up all kinds of blogs and things like that, but you also share your YouTube videos on it, and there's a paywall. They can't stop you from doing that.
But you're also you're not selling ads on your Patreon. Because that's for
you're not selling ads.
For example, selling ads on a web page where YouTube videos are the main draw for users. So
that would be if you posted your video on another website that you sold out a bunch of ad space around said video,
and people are only coming there for those videos. Yeah.
So in that case, that makes sense. That doesn't include Patreon.
Yeah.
In this. So that's basically skirting. In that case, it's skirting Google's ad properties and setting up other ones and using your YouTube videos as the draw. That's not what Patreon does in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
Yeah, this has been going on for a while. But yeah, Spicy, that if somebody told you that includes Patreon, even in that wording, that's incorrect. That's an incorrect supposition there, I think, because you're not selling ads on Patreon. You can't advertise around your video. Basically, no, never mind. That's the other thing. I thought somebody else had jumped in. That's the screen share. Yeah, this has been going on for 2 hours just because we started out with a whole lot of bullshitting and talking about wooden dicks, and then. Now we're talking about YouTube's terms of service.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and turn off the StreamYards part, or I'm sorry, the screen share part, because we don't need that. Yeah, now we're in a weird view.
That's okay. They can see more of my glorious backlog. Oh no, now they can't see it anymore.
Yes, but see, like, it's like saying that I couldn't share my videos on another site.
Just
but that's different. That having a paywall is not advertising. They're talking about selling ads on a site that you're using your website for. You're not running ads on your Patreon. You don't. There's no ads running on the side. There's nothing like that. It's literally like a personal web page with a paywall.
Yeah.
Because you can have Patreon with no paywall. And still show your YouTube videos over there.
Yeah.
So it's not the same thing. You're not selling your unlifted video is not the same as advertising around your video. Because if you're selling ad space to someone else and denying YouTube their ad revenue, that's a different story. In their case, nobody's making money but you off of your content on Patreon versus you selling ad space. That's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
That's what they're talking about. They're talking about selling ad space on another website and using your video for that. Now, here's an interesting problem with that. Other websites can do that when they take your video and use it on their own website as a promotion thing, and then they're selling ad space around it. But that has nothing to do with you. But other people can do it and get away with it somehow. And
basically,
completely.
I think the point of that that clause, section 10 there. It's
Yeah.
if you're going to unlist your video so we're not making ad revenue, you can't then put your video somewhere so you can get ad revenue from that video. Because you can get revenue from your Patreon because it's not an advertising. You're just paying people are just paying to see your content.
That's not advertising.
Right.
That's a completely different thing.
But if
Because
you're putting other ads around that video and you're collecting revenue from those ads, but YouTube's not, basically they don't want to be cut out of any ad revenue is all they're saying.
Yeah. So if you're not running any ads, then it's not the same thing as having a paywall. It's just not. So no, you can totally unlist your videos and do that, because I guarantee you past December 10th, people are still going to do it.
Yeah.
Because if they were not allowed to do it, then everyone would leave who's planning on that as their backup.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but that's not what it means. It literally says you cannot sell advertising, is what it says. Specifically says sell advertising. And Patreon is not selling advertising unless you can run ads on Patreon, and nobody told us. Now he's saying see number 1. No, I'm not going to do that. We saw number 1. Yeah, that also doesn't count. I think that's falling more under a copyright issue.
Yeah.
That's talking about, well, almost basically what I was saying before about taking somebody's videos and putting them on your website to draw attention.
Yeah.
Access is like, you're not allowed to access, reproduce, download, distribute, transmit, broadcast, display, sell, license, alter, modify, or otherwise use any part of the service or any content except as expressly authorized by the service, which they do, and prior written permission from YouTube and applicable respective right holders. I'm the one who holds the rights to my video, not YouTube.
And if
I want to show them off elsewhere, I can.
If there's an option to share your video or take the link to the video,
100%.
That's them giving you permission.
Yeah, you have permission to share your content. 100%. And that's all you do when you do it. So it's like, you can't steal from somebody else for obvious copyright reasons, but it's your video. You have the right to share it elsewise.
Yeah.
Whether you're monetized or not.
Yeah.
You could always do that. You'll still always be able to do that as long as there's a fucking URL at the top of your screen.
Right.
There is no way to stop you from doing that. So no, that doesn't make sense. Patreon paywall prevents access to the service. No, it doesn't. So, I mean, it is what it is. You can keep arguing what it is. They cannot go around it. Well, see, the thing is that I'm not selling 100% of the access because I can always access it for free. Either way, they're still not stopping anyone from doing anything about it. You cannot stop somebody from sharing it.
Yeah.
If I do a video, if I put a video as unlisted and I share it specifically on Facebook, isn't that the same thing? What's the difference?
Yeah.
Literally, what's the difference between putting it on Twitter only? Because then it means only that one place can be restricted. You can only see it in this one spot. Go to my Twitter if you want to see this video. They're like, as long as you're capable of sharing the video and leaving it unlisted, that's like saying basically every bit of content you create has to be public. And they can't say that.
No, they can't do that.
Yeah, they can't say that every 100% of your content has to be. How many people have videos out there on their channels that they've not a single one is made public?
Right.
Like, some people might have dozens of videos and have never made a single one public. They just make them, they upload them, maybe they share them for their business, maybe they share them with just their friends.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're using it as a file share system, which I've done before. Yeah. But like, bye Rebecca. Bye SpongeBob. But I'm about to head out. I'm a head out. Memes. I mean, Article 13 already crippled what happens to people in Europe who clearly don't use a VPN. Because a lot of people have gotten around it with simply a VPN.
Yeah.
So those people who were, or other ones say like reactors got hit hard with copyrights repeatedly and Article 13. So they can't even react to videos the same way anymore because of the same thing. Yeah, I mean, if someone can always share a video, dude, as long as a person has access to it, even if that a person is the creator, then it's not whatever, you know. So I mean, that's why it can never be a hard fast rule. If it was, then it would be set up as a paywall server to begin with, and the creator would be paying to use the service,
Right.
which we do by proxy of our AdSense. Our percentage that we give of our AdSense is basically going to having our videos.
Right.
And the monetized people are making up for the people who are not monetized. Right? I mean, that's just what it comes down to. So, I mean, anybody could do it at this point, and a lot of people are going to do it at this point. Sad reality of it is, if there's no way to make money on YouTube, but they don't want to host somewhere else, like switching over to Vimeo or whatever, and if you're going to have a paywall anyways, just leave all your shit unlisted on YouTube.
Right. Well, so for
unless not being monetized is the only way to avoid COPA entirely.
Yeah.
You can have it public, but you can't make money.
Because
that's why we're talking in a lot of hypotheticals here.
We
went from 11 to 5.
There are big channels out there who they're not using Patreon exactly, but like Good Mythical Morning has the Mythical Society, where you pay a monthly fee in different tiers and you get more content from them.
It's basically Patreon.
Yeah. I mean, actually, I think it's their website is a Patreon.
Well, they have.
So
I know that. Yeah, but like Screw Attack had their first players or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
So basically, you could always have a subscription of sorts. You know.
Right.
So you could always have a subscription of sorts to help support your channel. So, and you could always have exclusive content for those people. And odds are it was all hosted unlisted in this case, you know?
Yeah.
And sadly, I only support one other creator on Patreon because I only make so much money on Patreon. So I can only divvy up much. And it's Bobby Skullface because I wanted to see his other content because I knew he's making tons of other stuff, but to also have extra tiers of the higher level stuff.
Yeah,
it's smart. But for guys who are just going to go for general, I need to keep making money at this, they're going to have to just go with the $1 paywall and hope that they get 50%, 10% so they can keep their money up.
Yeah.
With guys who are big subscriberships, they can do that.
Yeah.
And it won't hurt as much.
Right.
And if COPA doesn't apply to things people can't see on YouTube specifically, and you have to be over a certain age to be on Patreon or whatever website, then you're covered on that end, but you're also not advertising in the video, period, then it doesn't matter. And that's the only way you're going to make money safely at the moment. So if my entire channel goes dark tomorrow, with the exception of it still exists, y'all better be forking over $1 to see any of my reviews. Sadly. And if Zach does the same thing, if Mecha Gaikotsu does the same thing, then that's going to be the only future of it.
Yeah.
You know,
there are only maybe seven YouTube channels that I would pay $1 to see.
And mine's not one of them because you don't.
Well, I don't have to pay $1.
Calling you out. That, and you get to see what I'm working on anyways because I send it to you in Messenger.
Messages and shit. So,
yeah, you're one of the like 7 people who have seen the finished Star Destroyer. Yeah, I mean, if Vimeo is a good enough service, I could see people switching to it. I don't use it. I don't. If somebody has a Vimeo link, I generally don't click on it
Yeah.
because it's like, when people say they're going to watch a video, they YouTube it. It's the standard, and I get that. That they've become the standard, and they've become a legit platform for entertainment. And most other platforms of entertainment can stand behind the creators to a degree unless they've done something wrong. The internet and YouTube being a completely different entity from anything that's ever existed, the laws to govern it have not been created yet to a degree to plan for what's happening.
Yeah.
And it sucks. And now we're finally seeing the ultimate result of the lack of laws. It's been too much of a Wild West, so to speak. And it wasn't our fault. We weren't the ones committing the actual crime. We're the ones who have to serve the time. It's like we're the ones who get punished for what YouTube did wrong.
Right.
And that's where a lot of people are just going to abandon the platform. Because we don't want to be blamed for what YouTube did wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's either abandon the platform that we've all gotten used to using, or they give us an alternative way to use it without causing problems to anyone. So I think ultimately, if they can without a doubt say the only way to of your content being safe and your channel being safe is to just not monetize, and you won't lose any ability of any other type of the service, that's what everyone's going to go to, and they'll go behind a paywall because it'll be the only way to make money. And let's be honest, once you start making money at this, you're going to want to keep making money at this.
Yeah.
I don't make shit compared to what I would consider real creators.
Right.
And of course I have friends who have not even gotten a payout yet. Yeah, they've been monetized and they haven't even received a payout yet. So for people who have actually made money at this, the only other option is to remove all ways of making money directly from YouTube and run them by a paywall and hope that your subscribers will understand and support you. 18 plus only website. Yeah. YouTube Adults app. Yeah. I mean, we had YouTube Red, which was a paywall.
Well, no,
and you had to be.
It's YouTube Premium now.
I know, but I'm talking about. But
Yeah.
even nobody honestly uses it. It was funny.
I got the free trial so I could watch a couple of shows that were made by Game Grumps and Good Mythical Morning, and there was one other, but there's nothing on there that's worth paying for.
No, that's what I'm getting at. So it's like, make the whole site YouTube Premium, and everybody has a $1 buy-in.
You pay $12.99 for the year.
Yeah, but a $1. Basically, yeah, you pay $12.99 for the year, and you're covered, and you can see all of your regular creator content things. But if you don't, you get 1% of their videos.
Yeah, I would pay $13 for the year.
Yeah, I mean,
I would do that.
If you
everyone all this hassle, yeah, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah, if every single person that subscribed to YouTube paid $1 across the fucking world, we could almost pay Logan Paul.
We can
because those fucktards.
Logan Paul's lawsuits.
Yeah. Well, he gets some, but like the bigger channels do make a shit ton of money. They literally live off their AdSense.
Oh yeah.
And if any of those guys get hit, then YouTube as a platform goes down because they're not making their giant chunk off their premium AdSense.
Right.
So, I mean, it's either you pay $1 a month to help out your creators on a website that only you're basically going to be the only way to see them. Or if YouTube offered that as a paywall option for everyone, and we pay our taxes on it, like we should do, through AdSense or whatever you want to call it. And everybody gets their subscription fees based on their subscribers and their views. Like, they would have to figure out how to pay us out of it directly,
Yeah.
because, it's like, because that's the difference.
They already have that platform set up with YouTube Premium. Like, because you get ad-free videos, and they're using that money to pay their content creators.
Okay, so they would have to generate enough money off of the subscriptions for that to pay the content creators and pay for the content that's getting created, because they're all original series and things like that. The YouTube generally funds somehow. So, I mean, if it's a thing, it'll be a thing. But honestly, do not be surprised if in January my channel goes dark and the only way you're going to see it is by being a patroneer. And I'm not joking. This is complete reality. If it saves my ass and it allows me to keep doing what I love doing, and the only way you're going to see it is by paying $1 to me, then I will be fine with the 100 of you that will do it.
Honestly, when I was counting those 7, it was originally 6. Then I was like, oh, don't be an asshole, Shoki.
Yeah. Because the only way you would see my content, I would stop sending you pictures. Like, the only thing, like I said, if demonetization and paywalls is the only way to go to save a channel, then it's going to happen 100% across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a channel membership thing because he got big enough. Yeah. See, that's the problem. At 10,000 subscribers, you get the ability to join the channel and have a channel subscription, which is great. But I'll never get there, especially at this rate.
I don't know. You might get 10,000 in like 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. No, to get 10,000, I have to move to Japan. Or Korea. Here, let me move completely across the world, uproot my entire life, learn an entirely new country just to have more YouTube subscribers.
I wonder how that's going to affect Zach, because he's moving to Florida.
Yeah, he's coming back. I knew that.
Yeah.
Oh, the not having instant access to kits to. Well, I mean, he'll have his USA Gundam store pre-releases.
He's reviewing the kits before USA Gundam Store even has them. So I don't know.
No, well, I guess in some degrees that's true, but there are ways. There are ways that a retailer can get things early.
Yeah,
especially for someone. Just show off your boobs. Yeah, that's fine. Yes, my channel goes dark 12/1/2019. That's fine. Wait, my review channel is not monetized with only 48 subs. What about many views per day? Will this cup of crap hit me? This is what we discussed earlier. I know you showed up way late. What will happen to non-monetized channels? How does it affect them at all? Because if the argument is the lawsuit and everything that was filed against Google and YouTube was that they were advertising to children and targeting ads at children. If you have no ads, where do you fall? Because my secondary channel only has 136 subscribers, which thanks to the 2 people who subscribed today, whoever you are, yay. And that's my toy channel. That's like where 90% of my toy reviews have gone, because I took them off of this channel to get it de-age gated. And it worked. But now, if that channel is the one that survives with no problem because it's not monetized, what the fuck? Move all content to the secondary channel. It's like, everyone go subscribe to that channel, and I just will never turn on monetization.
Yeah.
But realistically, like I said, if the answer is turn off monetization and then I get 50 people who are willing to pay, then my channel would not change. Spicy subbed. Okay. But Robot Show Tunes, that is 100% a great question, because no one knows.
No idea.
It's one of the things they didn't talk about. It's one of the many things they didn't talk about. So I would go into the frequently asked questions area on that video. They actually in the comments of the video that was linked, where they're actually telling you how fucked you are.
Yeah.
They actually answered a lot of questions in the description. Like, as they were getting more questions in the comments, they would delete the comment and then bump it up as an actual question that got answered.
Oh, really?
Because a lot of people are like, I like how they deleted the top comments. And like, no, they moved them and they answered them in the description. So they have not, as far as I saw, they have not addressed non-monetized channels. So
you're talking about YouTube's actual video.
Yeah, YouTube's actual video where they describe the change, which I'll get a link for and probably put in the description of this. It's just one of those things I didn't have offhand. But if
you okay there,
if
buddy?
those channels are, yeah, the beer was coming back on me. But also, I thought the wifey was coming in. I thought I heard the door. I don't know Robot Show Tunes because that applies to a whole lot of people I know who are not monetized yet, including myself. Because if it really makes no difference, then I can put 100% of my content on one channel, and the people who want to see it can watch it just as usual because I won't be worried about that stuff. And then if I have to go behind the paywall specifically just to make any money at this, then that'll be the option. And I hope that 50 people will do it. You're going to test this out. Okay. Thanks for the insight. And how does one get flagged? Do you receive some kind of email? Because I don't think I received anything. Nothing is flagged as of yet. The only things were if you were in your video box. So if you're in Studio Beta, which I still find is funny. It's they're forcing it on you as the main option, but it's the beta. If you're looking at your channel videos, it'll show you under published. It'll say made for kids in little brackets. That's the only way that I saw that you were notified at all that you had a change. Currently, nothing is flagged, so to speak, and nothing they've done affected you directly. So you need to go. And I know that even non-monetized channels still have to say their stuff is not for kids because in the event of them becoming monetized and advertising,
yeah,
I assume that's, and we talked about that early on.
Because I'm not monetized and I had to say it.
Yeah, and that's the insight I have of having a non-monetized channel and a monetized channel, so I could see where the differences lie. And in that case, there were no differences, and both had ticks that said this video is made for kids, under their arbitrary whatever the hell they set that algorithm to do.
Yeah, I really wish I would have really looked into it before
checked and looked to see,
like done some research and all that.
See, this is the problem, is that basically there were no answers at the beginning. There's just fear, and there's still nothing but fear. Nobody can relax. Nobody knows 100% of what they're going to do. The guys who've been around forever are ducking behind the paywall to make sure they can at least still make money. And they're sacrificing the video. Oh, that came out of my nose. And they're sacrificing the videos they have to that 100% said this is a kid's video.
Right.
But it's still such a giant gray area. It's because for Pixel Dan to say that every Ninja Turtles video was said it was made for kids, but his Motu stuff wasn't. And then also his toy hunts weren't hit. His Toy Explosion videos weren't hit. His going to toy conventions weren't hit. And if it says toy on it and it doesn't make an effect, and if you're showing off toys, doesn't make an effect, and a specific brand and IP doesn't hit, what are the rules? Yeah, you got to go look at your studio. Sorry, I know beta's the devil. Well, tell us what you're testing out, Spicy. You said you're testing something. I want to know what you're testing, because yeah, it's the biggest question is what's going to happen with non-monetized things in the first place. And that's the answer I want, because I see that as my solution. OG Eastman and Laird Ninja Turtles isn't made for kids. That's true, but it doesn't matter because all Ninja Turtle toys were. in the eyes of whoever. Even he said even his NECA Turtles reviews got hit, and I didn't see that on mine, but I don't think I made it that far back. But did I do mine individually? No, I did them all in a single review, so I would only have to worry about it the once. I don't know. I guess hopefully more will come out about this in December. Once they've had more time to go over COPA and figuring out what the fuck that they're really going to do with it. And then I get answers, because that's the problem, is nobody wants to give out real answers yet because nobody has them. Even YouTube basically says, go see what a lawyer says about what your content is. And that's incorrect in my mind.
Yeah.
Thomas Rice sent me a message.
Because like if I go to a lawyer who I know is interested in collectibles, they'll look at my videos and say, "Oh no, those aren't for kids."
Well, the thing is that they can go over the COPA guidelines and literally determine objectively by those guidelines if your videos fall under it. That's the difference.
So COPA has they have, you know, the articles and the laws on the FTC website. If you read the abstract, it's in more plain language than the actual law. And you can glean a little bit of information from that, but it's still like where we are as far as our content is still such a gray area. It's not. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And that's where, okay, the COPA laws are clear on what is and is not advertising to children.
Yeah.
But we're not advertising. We're not the ones advertising. We're the ones who are having the advertisements around our content.
Right.
And that's the problem. That's the main problem. It's like, it doesn't matter what we make as long as kids see it and there's an ad.
So I'm wondering, okay, so if the FTC is going to be like really understanding about this, is that they'll know that we don't choose the ads that show on YouTube.
Yeah.
So demonetizing our video is fine, okay? Because they're taking away the ability for YouTube to do that. But what if what they're really going to do is fine YouTube for doing the advertising, for doing the collecting?
But they did that already. They did that.
But what I'm saying is, what if that's what that really means? What if that because the creator themselves did not design those ads. We are not the ones collecting data. We are not the ones advertising to kids. We are just creating content.
Yeah. Now, we already talked about that whole idea of paid sponsorships.
Yeah.
Advertising. But that's a different story, because that's not even in YouTube's realm. That's entirely on us. We are now using our voice to advertise a product. And the main reason that we're getting that is because someone is prominent enough on YouTube to advertise said product. I think under these same laws, because even in terms of service, it still says you can do that and there's no problem with it. But there's nothing specifically stating anything about that. But here's the thing. If your video is deemed as not for kids anyways, it shouldn't matter what you advertise. True. If kids are not technically supposed to see it. But we can't control what kids see. We have no control over it. The kids are seeing it, what accounts they're faking under, all of that bullshit. We have zero control over that. YouTube has zero control over that. So even having no advertising and doing a paid sponsorship, they still have zero control over that. But the responsibility at that point doesn't fall on YouTube. It doesn't fall on anything like that. It falls still on you as a content creator. So I guess in theory, it should fall under the same thing.
When are the parents involved?
Never. No responsibility for the parents. So, I mean, but the thing is, a lot of paid sponsorships will probably go away.
Yeah.
I would think.
I don't know. You know what?
If you have a Ninja Turtles video sponsored by e-cigarettes.
You know what?
Which actually they had to pull all advertising for those anyways.
In the Philippines, When
Yes.
you go to a movie theater,
Yeah.
and you are watching a movie, if you're watching a Marvel movie, clearly aimed at kids, you know what one of the first advertisements is before the movie?
What?
Beer. You know what the second
Yeah.
advertisement is?
Cigarettes?
Liquor.
No. That's funny. But where's the regulation? Well, I guess they don't do that here in theory, but they do advertise other things, cell phones and crap like that. Whatever weird ads for TV shows
I'm just
and networks
saying,
and other crap.
internationally, our laws are way too strict.
Okay, so even Josh says he's negligent in his 12-year-old watching on YouTube. Well, all she have to do is get to 13 and it doesn't matter, Josh. Because a 13-year-old can watch anything. It doesn't fucking matter.
Except for age-restricted content.
Why does it matter? Why is a 5-year-old and a 12-year-old hold it the same regard of what they want to watch or what they should be able to watch? They're not interested even in the same shit.
All kids want to watch on YouTube is Vine compilations and gamers. That's it.
Oh, I like this. Yeah, a rating system like TVMA and stuff like that.
But we're not network television.
But it doesn't work on TV anyways.
Yeah,
kids can still watch anything if their parents don't have a password thing set up on a smart TV.
Do you remember when you were a kid and you turned to the pay-per-view channel during a nudie flick, but it was all like garbled and you could every once in a while you're just waiting for a boob to show up in the color?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kids will watch whatever they can.
Yeah. Fortnite, yeah. The law was written for 5-year-olds, but applying it to kids up to 13. Yeah. Exactly. So it's stupid. So the law has to be written in such a way that it makes sense to govern such a thing. Because the idea is to protect people, not just kids.
Yeah.
Because the law itself should also be protecting people from the liability of the law.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't exist just to punish. It exists to protect people from itself.
Yeah. Can I tell you an unintended consequence of COPPA? And this is unrelated to YouTube. But I work in health insurance, and for purposes, I won't say which company, but I work for health insurance. And their website for their customers, if someone signs up for an individual plan for their kids that they're not on, and their kid is under 13, they cannot make an online account for that kid. They can't manage the plan online because of COPPA.
Yeah. Because you can't technically collect the data on that kid. Because a kid can't have an account because you can't have information on that child.
Right.
Medical information, yes, but only medical people should have access to that.
But what I'm saying is,
not
if they were on the coverage with the child, they can have their own account as the administrator and see the child's information.
Yeah, but the child cannot have their own account.
Right. So if the
they
child
have access to use.
Yes. So if the child is insured by themselves, the parent has no way of managing that plan. It all has to be done through mail or on the phone. Because of COPPA.
Just can't do it on the internet.
Right. It's so stupid. I think COPPA itself needs to be completely reworked for a lot of things.
For the 21st century, at least.
Yeah.
Because the internet is literally anyone can watch and see anything anywhere. And it doesn't matter if you want to set up an age restriction. It doesn't fucking matter. All it comes down to is a checkbox and putting the right numbers in the right order on the screen so that you're 18 or you're 13 or whatever. So honestly, there's no way to control that end, but we're expected to control that they see us or not.
Yeah.
But we're not in charge of what they see on our advertising. We're not in charge of that. We just have an on and off button. So our only liability is that on and off button.
Right.
So.
But even then, I don't know. Like.
They do need to extend it by 6 months. Fuck 3 months, 6 months.
Right. And we might get an extension. Who knows? We don't know what's going to happen in the next 15 days or whatever. But ultimately, YouTube and Google are responsible for the advertisements that they're putting on content creators' videos.
Yeah.
So
100% they are.
Ultimately, it should only be YouTube and Google who's held accountable for any violations, because content creators don't have that control. We're not the ones doing it.
Yeah, all we have is the on and off switch.
Yeah.
But if we turn the switch on, then we take the risk completely.
Yeah.
But what we need to know is if turning the switch off eliminates the risk entirely.
There should be no risk to content creators, period.
No, you're right. But I'm saying because they forced the risk onto us at this point. I mean, realistically, if it comes down to it, the 1st of December, I might demonetize my channel. Just for safety's sake.
Just for safety's sake.
Because if everyone turns off monetization in December and the changes take place in January, and then no one starts getting hit with violations, period. No, your video is unsafe for kids or is made for kids. It's like, it doesn't matter if it's made for kids. It's not being advertised. If being made for kids removes advertisement, then removing advertisement for something not made for kids should make it safe.
In theory.
Because there's no reason to fear that if nothing's being advertised, then there's no violation. That's basically what YouTube has done, set their system up to be. If you're found in violation, we remove your monetization. And if you admit it to being for kids, we remove your monetization. So basically, it's just demonetized and your video should be fine.
Yeah.
The second channel is Shoki Reviews 2. Super hard to remember. Just Shoki Reviews 2. No, usually my third-party Legends stuff is all actually on the main channel. I usually keep the cool Transformer stuff to the main channel. Siege stuff sometimes goes up on the secondary channel, but I keep all the stuff I want people to see on this channel. But maybe that's just the ultimate solution, Joey. And people who don't have monetization, just leave your shit not monetized and not worry about a fucking thing. And set up Patreon, and the people who want to help support you will do it.
Yeah. I think that's
which is already the system. That's already the system that exists.
That's already the system that people have been going to. So
yeah, and it's hard because I've tried for a couple of years now to make Patreon exclusive content, and it gets hard. You know, to always be able to do both. But I mean, if you're making lots and lots and lots of content constantly, like Bobby does and other people do, then you can have a shit ton of Patreon exclusive content and make it worth their time. But now it's come down to, please just help us survive, and you can see all of my stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't done any New Age lately because I have a pile of them over here behind my computer. It's like I have a bunch of New Age. I have 7 New Age figures that I have not reviewed yet. They're just sitting here, and because I got busy with Double October and other things, and frankly, my Nintendo stuff, my Transformer stuff doesn't get a ton of views, so I'm not always in a rush to do it. So, yeah, no, perks are fine, except for the fact that nobody gives a shit about perks. It's like, unless you have like exclusive shit you can send them, there's almost nothing that people want. And clearly my merchandise doesn't sell, so I would have to have something else. People bought more Double October stickers than t-shirts.
Well, aren't the stickers cheaper?
They are cheaper, but that's my point. I made, just to be honest with everyone here, with the total Double October sales this year, I made $9.
You can't even buy the cheapest high grade, the cheapest double.
I can't buy my own t-shirt with that. My own t-shirt with buying a sample like this one. This was a sample product, which means there's no profit. You know, there's just zero profit. You're just buying your shirt.
Right.
It's $14. I made $9 for all of Double October.
How many?
And I
shirts
dropped
did
all
you
my
sell?
prices. Huh?
How many shirts did you sell?
2. I think I sold 2 shirts. One was a Trans Am shirt. I think somebody bought a mug, maybe, and then other people bought stickers.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah. Well, Robot Show Tunes, you'll see them. You just might have to go to my Patreon to see them. If I'm honest. But I mean, if Gundam stuff ends up being safe, then I'll just move all my non-Gundam stuff to Patreon, period. And then
Yeah.
anybody who wants to see that shit can pay the $1.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
I'm fine with that.
I don't make money anyway. I might just move all my content to Facebook.
I mean, I know, or Instagram. I mean, if you look at New Type Tim, he's got a massive fucking. He doesn't do YouTube. He only does Instagram. He has a massive following, and he's sponsored by Gundam Planet.
Nice. Okay.
So, and he lives in New York, so that helps.
Yeah, that helps. I don't know. There's not.
And you can technically get money for doing Instagram stuff.
Huh, okay.
And not be a hot chick in a bathing suit. It's possible.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah, it's a slim chance, but you could do it. But yeah, I mean, unless I start creating my own actual designs of stuff and selling it on t-shirts, which I've already thought about doing. Like, actually, you still will need to buy a hashtag nub shaming shirt, Joey.
I need to get one. Yeah.
What? I'll put it up for you to buy because I can still put up any design I've ever made.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you when I'm ready to buy it because right now I'm super broke.
Actually, you don't even have to do that. You could just send me the money. I'll purchase it and send it to you.
Oh, that works too.
Because I could just do it as a sample product and just
send it to you. The sample products aren't printed the same?
I don't think it's that. I think it was just the fact it might have been the first printing.
Oh, okay.
Or the fact the color gradient might have been ever so slightly different.
Okay.
I don't know that there's an actual difference because I have no way to compare.
Yeah, I definitely need a nub shaming shirt.
Yeah, Josh wants a Stump Love shirt. For his stump.
Yeah.
I mean, if I, and you know what's funny is I used to sell not decent, but like at least the Lupus for Lupus was the most monetarily thing. Really? You know, I didn't even see that message, right? You dork.
Yeah.
It's like everything is muted and you send me a text message. Dumbass.
I didn't want to interrupt the flow.
The irony is you could have typed it in the chat. It would have been funnier. You're like, I need to go. Type it in the chat and be like, what? Joey's trying to leave. Okay, either way, yeah, it's late. I want to go anyways. But I think we may have stumbled upon a solution by accidentally, mumbling through all this for a long time. But we needed to vent about it, if nothing else. I really wish Arthur could have been on here, but hopefully he watched. Or he's going to call me tomorrow and ask me all the same fucking questions. I'd be like, simple. Turn off monetization and keep doing what you do. And you should be safe. And if they come after you about that, be like, how the fuck can you come after me? I'm not advertising to children. I'm advertising to no one.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be the new crowd. We're gonna be fuck the FTC. Hold on.
Okay.
Why is it mirrored? It's mirrored, but it's correct. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
Yep. Well, I mean, honestly, Spicy, I believe that just putting it behind the paywall will totally work. There ain't nothing wrong with it. People do it already. It's just whether or not people are willing to pay to see your shit.
Yeah, and my content, I don't even have that many subscribers.
And I mean,
I have 500 or 600.
Okay. I'm going to say this last thing because it appears to be true across the board, with the exception of the massive, #1 channels. 60% of your viewership comes from non-subscribed people, which means the numbers you have, your subscriber numbers, don't mean a shit, because clearly the people who are subscribed to you are not watching your video as much as people who are not subscribed to you. So to put something behind the paywall, if I had 50 people willing to pay me to watch my videos every month, and I kept doing videos at the same rate I always do them, and those same 50 people pay me every month, and I know they're going to watch my shit, I'd be 100% happy than have 5,000 people subscribed and having 200 people watch.
Yeah.
That 60% aren't even subscribed.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, Spicy says 80% of his views are from non-subs. So there we go. So paywall is everyone's future. If you are, nobody's watched this far, I know if you're watching this after the fact, you have not watched this far to reach the ultimate conclusion. Paywall is the future of most channels you love, or they're just going to disappear. Support your creators. Go jump on the FTC websites. Go jump on the change.org petitions. Start your own petitions. Throw shit out at YouTube. Whatever you can do to get out your support for creators and your opinions on what needs to be done. Be smart and be kind about it. Don't just start rambling off and telling people they're fucktards, because that's not going to get you anywhere.
Right.
Because to be honest, the FTC really needs people's input.
Yeah.
Because, like we said, they're a bunch of old fuddy-duddies who don't have a fucking clue how this works.
If you can
and they need people who are...
If you can write out your complaints and grievances in like Old English, that might actually do really well.
I'm gonna not say what I was about to say. I'll tell you when the stream's over.
Okay.
But either way, guys, please. Everybody says this, but now we literally mean it more than ever. If you love your creators and you want to see them survive, you will have to support them. Probably in a monetary way. And if $1 a month is too much, then I'm sorry. Odds are you're not going to see a lot of people's content. If a lot of people come out of this unscathed and everything continues, that's the best outcome we can all hope for.
Yeah.
But just support your creators, stand in support for them, tell the FTC how things really are, because they don't see it.
The best outcome for me would actually be if YouTube was the one who got the $42,000 fine per video.
I think they did, and that's how it came out to 200 and whatever million. But then they each got hit with that, if I remember correctly. They each got hit with like nearly 300 million.
Oh yeah,
as separate entities. But guys, I appreciate anybody who stuck around to listen to our complaining and bitching, and hopefully Joey will be able to save me a wooden dick for post-Christmas time, because it'd be funny. Speaking of wooden dicks, I still need to build your ball sometime soon, but now you're back in the country, I can get back on that. But now I have to buy more paint because I used up some of it on, or all of it on my Star Destroyer.
Yeah, that's okay. Take your time with it. I'm happy.
I have plans for it. Okay. If you saw the last Double October diaries that I posted today, you probably told you out you watched it. I had to cut a part of it because I specifically talk about what I was going to do with your balls. So I actually cut that out so that you would not know.
Oh, that's great.
Yes. So
okay.
I have plans. I have plans for it. Just know
I'm
that.
excited.
So
I'm
guys,
excited
we're gonna go.
Do
it's late as shit. The Uniball. Thanks to Joey for coming and hanging out. I'm glad somebody was here to bitch with me and help work through some of the bullshit. And I knew you were already vocal on this as it was.
Yeah.
And for everybody who has more questions, we didn't necessarily answer any of them, but hopefully we've alleviated some of the worry by coming up with new ideas to end run YouTube's bullshit. So, but support creators.
Yep.
Keep YouTube as close to the way it is as possible. Tell the government, even if you don't live in this country, tell our government how they should do things. And keep YouTube free for everyone and paid for the rest of us. Good night, good evening, good morning, and remember, as always, to keep on nerding, keep on building, and we might have to build a new community after the apocalypse, and it might cost you $1. Bye, guys.
Bye.
And this is the awkward part where I have to end broadcast twice.